What is up, everybody? What's going on? It's Thursday night. You know what that means. It means you missed AEW if you didn't watch it last night.
You're missing it now, also.
Oh, is Collision on right now?
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Well,
AEW, who cares?
Wow. I know. That's what we say when we talk about a lot of stuff you watched, probably.
The Rookie, which is over, by the way. I think last week was the finale.
Yeah, I know, right? I
was
saw
really
that.
bummed out this week.
I know. I was like, I was going to watch the one show I watched during the week, and it's like, it's not on now. It's like, dang it.
Yep.
So
Back
now
to
I have
Frasier reruns.
I've been watching Walking Dead, Dead City. That's been great.
Is that the one with Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Yeah.
That's the one with Batman, Christian Bale's Batman parents.
No, Ben Affleck's Batman parents.
Yes, sorry.
Zack Snyder Batman. Yes.
Oh, he said in an interview that was just like originally that was before the whole gimbal thing. That was Gimbal's.
He said that Gimbal. He said someone might have thought that was funny, and so they did it, but they didn't realize.
Yeah.
But,
so,
Zach, you should watch some Cheers reruns in honor of Norm.
You know what? I actually saw. I did see a clip. It had Frasier and Lilith in it.
Yeah.
So
with his little baby son.
Norm.
And Lilith was like, "No son, no baby is going to learn anything valuable. Our baby's not going to learn how to talk in a bar." And then the baby says, "Norm."
Right.
Lilith is one of the best characters. It's a shame she's only in one episode per season. She's fantastic.
I wish they'd brought her. I wish they'd used her more during the Frasier series, which very very little.
It's like one episode a season. Yeah.
I gotta ask, who's all dead from the cast now? 3 people now?
Well, Nicholas Colasantos died during the show's run.
Yeah, that's why they had to bring in Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
He was coach.
He was coach, and they brought in Woody
Cliff
Harrelson.
still
to replace
alive?
him.
Yeah. And the other two that died of Kirstie Alley and George Wayne.
Okay, I thought there was I was gonna say I thought there was a third. I didn't realize it was actually a guy that Woody replaced.
John Ratzenberger, I think, is still alive.
Yeah.
He's done a voice in every Pixar movie too.
I know. So
Yes.
is George George Wendt.
Yeah.
Norm, really?
Wasn't he the dinosaur?
No, that was Wallace Shawn. That was the inconceivable guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he can go fuck himself.
And it's inconceivable that someone could be in every Pixar movie.
Right.
But yeah, Cheers has 2 of the most out conservative actors in Hollywood.
And Burroughs, I think, is Burroughs. One of the writers is on Gutfeld all the time.
Who were the two?
Kelsey Grammer and John Ratzenberger.
Ratzenberger's. Oh, I knew Grammer. I couldn't think of another one.
You know what? I forgot about Kelsey's Grammer's sister who was murdered 50 years ago. I forgot about that. He was talking about it on Fox about a couple days ago.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I can imagine that there were some good conversations between those two and Woody Harrelson and Ted Danson. who they probably have more in common than not now because they
probably do.
They're liberal, not. Not.
I've always got the idea Harrelson. I mean, he always struck me as just super libertarian.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking, but
well, his best friend is so maybe because he and McConaughey are like best friends in real life.
Yeah, McConaughey. Yeah, he's also he's got to be more center at least than left, if not a little bit on the right.
I tried watching, what was that show with Ted Danson and Kristen Bell, The Good Place, or what it was?
Oh yeah, Good Place. Oh, that was fun.
I only got an episode in. I never really went back to it because I forgot about it.
That was fun.
Everybody that's watched it absolutely loved it. I fell off of it too.
I never finished it, but what I saw of it, I mean, theologically, it's not very sound, but it is pretty hilarious.
Kristen Bell, is that the chick from
Veronica Mars?
Veronica Mars.
Yeah, I'd say she
was also in.
She could have
Forgetting
been
Sarah Marshall,
the biggest geek goddess this side of Olivia Munn, who abdicated her throne also. And God, Kristen Bell is just annoying.
A little bit.
She was in that one of my favorite movies. It was
yeah, they make an annoying couple.
Yeah.
She's cute, but but Dax Shepard, he played himself in Idiocracy. he was the lawyer.
That movie has become it was meant as a comedy. Now it's just a documentary.
What movie is that?
Idiocracy. Idiocracy is the reason that Crocs exist.
Hey, I like my Crocs.
You heard that story about that, right? They said,
they
made it for the movie.
God.
They picked them because they said no sane person would wear these type of stupid shoes, and they were just coming out at the time.
They purposely were made for the movie. They were made by the props, the movie, and people want them. So then they profit off of them because people are idiots.
Yeah. I would just wear mine to go to the mailbox or take
the sad thing is that I'm not surprised that of everybody I know that it's Zach who likes Crocs.
But do you know who actually benefits the most of them is actually like the people in the ER room, like the nurses and doctors. They wear those
because they are no slip.
Yeah, and they're
very comfortable. You can stand in them for a long
time.
But
I'm like, if you're in Florida, man, like just put shoes on. It's like
flip-flops. Flip-flops will do the same thing.
They don't make the ER nurses aren't there to make fashion statements.
No.
Except for in some of those movies you see like late night that they don't really show anymore.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean you need to wear them out in the real world, Zach.
Speaking of nurses,
I just wear my Crocs to the mailbox.
That's too. You can be seen. That's too far.
That's out in the real world. Once you get outside your door, you're in the real world.
No, outside my door is the swamp. Like there is no real world.
Congress?
No, not that swampy. We're not that bad.
Has anybody noticed that like a lot of like the good-looking nurses are only like at the dentist's office? They're not even at the hospitals anymore.
Oh,
yes.
Hey,
I've noticed that since I was 15 years old.
It's a conspiracy.
Dude, the last time I was in Base Hospital here at J-Bear, they've got a couple of some really good-looking nurses there.
And I gotta disagree with you also, Vegman. As you know, I am old, which means I've had a colonoscopy.
What?
And there are far more. I mean, there are far few less humiliating procedures that one can undergo. Yeah.
I will say that
every nurse there was a 12.
I was say if you have to have something embarrassing done to you, there's always a hot nurse. No exception.
I said they were all hot nurses. Thanks for interrupting, Jeff. I thought I woke up in the middle of a Cinemax movie. I go, what?
That's true, because I'll have when I was having rubber bands changed out of my braces, I'm 15, 16 years old, and it's all hot women with their hands and fingers in your mouth.
And they probably said, "Oh, you're such a cute little boy."
Yep.
Of course, you're lying there in your hospital bed, and they're bending over to take care of stuff, and you're trying not to.
Zach's there laying there with his beard.
This is 15 or 16. I didn't
You're a cute little JD Vance, aren't you?
I look like Pixel. What are you talking about?
You look like Pixel, like a girl?
I used to look like Pixel.
You had freakishly long fingers?
Well, they weren't looking at the fingers. They were looking at the teeth.
See, I deducted I kind of the reason why Pixel Lazy is. He's Nosferatu's son.
Well, when if it were Pixel at the dentist, they would have said, "Can you use your freakishly long fingers to pull your own mouth open?"
Yeah, right.
And then we
can you grab that for me? Sure. He grabs all of those outside the room. Hey, what's up? To people in the chat now, we got Marania. Hello. Cheeseburger Comics, Jay Lucian, Henry Jeremy. What's up? Emperor Goddess, who's watching us over on Twitch. That's why she's the little purple icon. If you look down on the bottom down there, now we're showing the little thing. See, I'm doing it properly. I know that I told E about it, but I told him it's like if you're streaming to multiple places, it's beneficial. But if you're just streaming to the same place, they can all see each other. You don't need to put it on the video. The only thing that sucks about that though is that I wish I could move it, but StreamYard's it's a beta test right now, so it's I can't move the chat if I wanted to. Slowly, the Streamlabs is trying to become like OBS more and more, But anyway, though, so yeah, We got some comic books tonight to show off. I hope everybody had a good day today. It's been kind of gloomy, like 58 kind of around here. It's been raining.
Oh, yeah, a gorgeous day. It's like 89, 90 degrees outside.
Well, you also live like by the Gulf of America.
We do. That is true.
I had to turn my freaking heat back on.
Exactly. That's what I said.
What do y'all do up there?
We're like 5 or 6 days in a row. We're starting to get close to 70.
Do people have to go through wardrobes to get to where y'all live?
Here,
not even coming close to 60 today.
Zach, I was like a week or two ago. I got up to 80 degrees here for 2 days, and then it went back, dropped down to 40, and then we're slowly working my way up to 70, and then we start over again.
That's insane.
Well, yeah, it's just
I don't think we've gotten above 60 here.
No.
It's 54 right now.
Well, you're in Alaska. Yeah,
well, you're much farther north than I am too. So yeah,
that's probably. Let's see. You might be warmer than us right now. Let me see.
But if you guys ever done so, please go check out Imperial Goddess.
Yep, we're Alaska right now.
She's on YouTube and also on Twitch live right now. Actually on Twitch. So if you have another tab open up for her. Just don't mute the tab because then she doesn't get this. For Twitch is a weird thing. If you stream on Twitch and you mute the tab, like or something or turn the volume down, like it doesn't count as a view. It's or something like some weird stuff like that. But anyway, still some good stuff coming at the end of Henry Month. Yes, right.
Should do.
I feel we should call it like Oh Henry Month. Like
you should do the champions. You could do the whole run in one cover.
Wait. Define which volume first?
What do you think I mean when I say the champions? Which
one?
Well,
Kamala Khan could be that for all I know with you.
The only one. The Hercules, Black Widow, Ghost Rider, that one. There's only like 12 issues of that, right?
Something like that. I don't know.
We've read the whole thing in one rank.
We've read like 4 of them so far without you.
Okay.
But yeah, Eric Breen, I usually would not have picked Jim Lee X-Men or so many Defender covers. But I was doing a team thing. Otherwise, I was just picking books that I like from my era. Yeah. Henry, I always think of you as a young person. When you start using terms like my era, I
don't think he's that young.
You start aging yourself. You start,
I think he's probably more like Green.
You might as well say it for my century.
For all we know, Henry could be the Jeff Bridges to Eric Breen's John Goodman.
Okay, speaking of Jeff Bridges, did you see the, there's a new Tron movie coming out where it's set in the real world?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to watch it because they have a certain there's a flash of a certain actor in there. And if you
don't like Jared Leto?
You don't like Jared Leto?
I like him about as much as I like getting repeatedly shot between the eyes.
I'm gonna ask, why don't you like him? For what reason?
Not a good actor.
Are you basing it just off his Joker and Morbius performance?
Hey, Morbius was great.
Because Morbius was actually a decent movie, though.
Zach, lay off the hard drugs, okay?
So are you blaming the actor for a poorly written script? Because I don't do that. If the movie sucks, it's not because of the actor. It's because the story.
He was in the previous Tron movie as well. He wasn't in it for very long, but he was in the previous one.
Honestly, I like Ben Affleck in his Batman role, but he did some other movies before that sucked. But look at him, an accountant.
The Accountant was great.
Exactly. So as I'm saying, I don't blame the actor. I blame the writer.
No, it's not. It's just him from all the stuff I've seen him, like where he's talking on TV and all this stuff. I've heard some of the things that he's done off screen, and I've just heard.
So it sounds like he doesn't like Jared Leto for the same reason.
So you don't like him as a person, not an actor. That's so.
Yeah,
I just acting.
And that whole Suicide Squad.
If that's the case, then I recommend you do not watch any interviews because you'll never watch that movie again. Because a lot of people, their actors, are not good people.
There's still some good ones.
Most of the time, I can disassociate, but I have my things. And Ben Affleck, I still say he was the second best Batman, and he could have been the first if he had a good script.
Wait, are you saying Dogma? I'm guessing.
No.
Yeah,
I don't know if Ben Affleck is even in the top 3 Batman.
All right, I'm 60, so step up. Well, I'm just saying when you say era though, it's like it sounds like back in my day when we asked to walk to
He's
school.
Jeff Bridges. Do you have
Yeah.
a beard, Henry?
Jeff
You have a
Bridges. Oh my
sweater?
gosh, he's another person that's a hit or miss too.
Jeff Bridges is all hits, no miss. He's the dude.
Dude, have you watched the Old Man?
No, I have not.
It's a good series where he plays
Every time I look in the mirror.
Oh wait, no, I have seen The Old Man every Thursday night.
On FX, yeah.
I see it twice.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't dislike the actors. Like, what's her name? Brie Larson. Like, I have no ill hatred to her. Does she say stupid shit? Yeah, but so does a lot of people. But I don't take it personal though. But you don't. But I'm saying you don't. Like, I agree with you. You don't have to go support them because you don't like what they're saying. That's your choice. I'm just saying I just don't. Either way, whether she says it or not, I just don't care.
If you vote the way we do, you gotta get thicker skin when it comes to your entertainers. However,
He just kicked Zach off. What the heck?
but when I said it, but sometimes, like when Springsteen over in England wastes half his show trashing Trump, which in effect is trashing half of the country.
Sure.
I said
sure, but Springsteen also has bad music though.
No, he doesn't.
No.
He's
got a lot of bad music.
No, his first 7 or 8 albums.
What, Born in the USA?
As good as anybody. I was kind of done with him by then, but Born to Run's been my favorite album for 50 years. Nothing he says is going to change that because they're not going to replace the songs on that album with him going on an anti-Trump diatribe. But if I were paying hundreds of dollars to see him, that'd be a different story.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's like if you're going to concert, sure, you're paying all that money, but like most people that.
And guess who rushed to his defense? Speaking of old, crabby old men, Neil Young.
Oh.
But anyway.
Well,
I can usually separate people out. I mean, there's movies that I go to where people are just horrible people and I can go watch it.
Didn't Neil Young hear that song that they sang by Alabama? They don't need him around.
It was Leonard Skinner.
Or sorry, Leonard Skinner.
And that was in response to
I'm saying
Alabama.
But Neil Young's made so many of my favorite albums, whether himself or Buffalo Springfield.
I guess that's the difference. It's like, I guess.
But I said but sometimes they do make it tough because, and I would say, they don't hate you personally. They don't know you, but they hate the ideas you represent. And sometimes that's tough.
I mean,
sometimes I think they just say that shit because that's how they keep making money.
No, it's
Rage Against the Machine. I can't stand
because whether the movie flops or not, they already got their money paid. Yep. So, but anyway,
hey guys, I think we're here to talk about comic books.
Are we?
I mean, that's what I was brought here under the pretense of.
I didn't bring you here.
Lied.
I assumed.
I didn't come pick you up and drive you over here.
Yes, thank goodness, because that would freak me out if you did.
I'm freaking out.
My favorite Jeff Bridges role.
I mean, Zach, it's you'll be fine. Just wear the black hood, and I'll put the earmuffs over, so you can't know where you're going.
Different type of hood that he normally wears.
It took you 2 seconds.
And don't forget Last Picture Show. Great Jeff Bridges roles. 1971. He's truly been around forever. That movie featured a very young Sybil Shepherd.
Did he do one with his brother, like the Bew Bridges or something?
It was the piano one. One where they did it was the two of them and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Well, we know Zach didn't see that one.
I didn't see it either, but I know of it.
Even though if you saw that, you'd be saying Anne Hathaway. Trust me.
Anne Hathaway?
No, you didn't.
Hathaway.
Not for this one. She was smoking. Cocktail, writhing around on a piano in a cocktail dress. Yeah, she was, as Kenny Mayne would say, she had it taking place.
Alrighty then. All right, let's get started. All right, I have 2 facts. Well, I guess one is a fax, the other one is a reprint, but added on. But I picked up this
Like half a dozen the other.
this week. I did not get the Galactus one because I figured you can get that in any friggin' trade. There's no point in getting it individually. But these are cool. Come with the ads.
I actually have Fantastic 448, and I picked it up yesterday.
See, that's what I mean. Like, and you probably have it in how many different trades?
A couple more on top of that, but yeah, well, my copy is destroyed. It's one of the few times I ever upgraded, but the upgrade went with when I sold the collection.
All right, and then Lucky Dead came out this week. This is 113 original cover. So, getting into the Negan War, and alrighty then. On to issue 9 this week is Catwoman. Got a little better. It's better than the T.D. Howard. I'm just tired of her having lovers outside of Batman. Because what's the point of her whole character is supposed to be a love interest for Batman. That's what she was designed as, a villain / love interest. So it's kind of weird. And like the whole story, I love Torn Grinbeck, but this whole story, it just feels so out of place, out of character. That's probably what's ending in 2 issues. So, mainly we find out that she was part of this. She had his whole life in Rome under a false name, and they pulled a heist for somebody, and then one of the brothers betrayed them, and she was only allowed to escape because some guy that she had feelings for, or Evie had feelings for, basically sacrificed himself, and then he saved her at the end of the last issue by killing one of the guys, and and it's a kind of like a awkwardness because like, oh, he's gonna tell Professor he loves her, but she's like, she doesn't want him to, but like, I don't know what Torn Grinbeck is going with this, because normally this isn't Torn Grinbeck style, but I guess she thought maybe this just works best as a spy thing. But it's like the problem with this book is that you're putting Catwoman on it, and it's not a Catwoman story. This would be better if it was like a gun hunting story or something like that, or something that it had nothing to do with Selena Kyle. But
to be fair, Catwoman wasn't romantically involved with Batman.
Not till later, but I mean
40 years plus of her character.
But
she was designed to be a femme fatale. Somebody got the idea to put them together, and even that was kind of an on and off thing. It's only in the DCEU universe that you'll never see Batman with anybody other than her ever.
But I'm just saying, it's like, but she originally, when you did originally see her though, when she's designed, it was not to have her own soul stories where she's outside of Gotham, and there's nothing, is far away from being Catwoman. She's more Catwoman on this cover than she's been in this whole entire run. But
I mean, you've read the other series. Batman isn't a big part of any of them.
Well, that's because so the reason you're talking about that because I was after the whole Tom King bullshit.
No, I'm talking about the
Joel Jones.
No, I'm talking about the 90-something issue series in the 80s.
Yes,
the one that started in 2002. I said. So I mean, she's Batman's a part of her life, but Batman doesn't define the character.
At the point, they weren't like, I don't think they were even romantically linked at all in that original, in that Chick Dixon run.
No, they weren't.
No.
I mean, they were,
But the problem is that Tom King was trying to link them together. Yeah,
he wasn't the first one to do that.
No, but I mean, like, so a lot of this is based off branching off all the events, that crap. So it kind of all trickles into the same bullshit. So I can't escape that.
Yeah, but the first thing you said was that you don't like her being romantically linked with people other than Batman. And
I don't because it just seems weird.
But she's had all kinds of men outside.
And the biggest complaint though is not even that. It just isn't even Gotham. This is outside of Gotham. This is like in another whole country. This is all in Europe.
Half of the past series of
and she doesn't even wear the costume. Like she wears costume like 10% at all.
Okay, well, that's legit.
So my thing is that don't call it Catwoman. Just call it some spy movie thing. So
Well, I mean, now, yeah, so you can't always have your costume on.
yeah, but when I get art like this, I kind of want to have a better cooking.
Okay, now, all right. Okay, if you'd have led with that, we could have saved 5 fucking minutes. Next.
Exactly. That's what I mean. This is like, gee, I get better art than G.I. Joe.
Hey, why are you knocking on G.I. Joe?
But G.I. Joe's cartoon is meant to be because it's based off the 80s cartoon. That just feels like I was getting we're getting the Batman series, but we're gonna go away from Batman and go for 2 seasons just Selena Kyle, just being Selena Kyle under a different name. It just felt weird. All right, number 8. Ghostbusters Dead Man Chest. I caved.
You did get it.
I caved. I originally was not going to get it, but I got it instead, and what sold me is the storytelling was actually really good in this. The art is getting better. It's okay, but it's a lot better than it was in the first time around or 2 years ago. It's the same creative team though, so I'm guessing the artists must have really improved their art because it doesn't look as bad. And it seems to have taken place after the last movie, so that really helps out too. They're keeping the continuity. Like that's supposed to be Paul Rudd on the left, and that's the mom. And I said the writer actually captures the actual personalities of the actors and the characters in the movie.
How did I have better art than Catwoman?
I know, right? Aviv Orr is the artist. David M. Boher, or Booher, is the in the script.
A person in a ghost book named Boo.
I know, right? And he looks like Matt Bohr. Bohm.
That was good.
So I question. He looks like Matt Bohm a little bit. Basically, she's going to she's going to a school called Zedmore Academy. And everyone there now, when she first started school last year, because it's supposed to be a year after the last book, no one cared about her. She was she got bullied a little bit by these 3 pauper girls, but now because she saved the world or the rest of them, now she's a celebrity, and she kind of hates it. And she meets so what she does is what she'd always promised herself to do. If I ever became famous, don't forget about the little people. And she's paying it forward, so she goes to the outcast, befriends him. You got the mean chick girl, or mean girls, mean chicks, whatever. And she kind of befriends him. It kind of continues like the events of the movie. You got the stupid brother who's wants to go out with the girl named Lucky, whatever her name is, the black girl.
Yeah.
It's like the 18 months since they've known each other, been friends, and he wants to plan like a friend. It's like a friend-anniversary. Kind of dumb. Like I said, this is aimed for little kids, so it's not going to be always not cutesy, but. And she's just, her mom just kind of makes jokes about it. It's like, you're planning to do all this and when she's like, and he says oh, she only has 3 hours between calc and statistics, she's like, good luck with that, pretty much. If you like the movies, it's just more of the movies. It's like another half an hour of the movie, so it feels like. We get more of Ray Stanza here, which is really great because they're really continuing with Phoebe hanging out with Ray and learning from him. So, yeah. 2 panel. Oh, what's going on? 2 panels in 1 page. Why do they add more panels? What's the problem? I don't know what you're complaining about. But I have nothing wrong with the artwork in here as far as the panel stuff. But overall, the new kid, turns out he's got his artifacts, and while they're going to get picked on, he pulls out this sword randomly in New York. I don't know how he doesn't get shot by cops, but, But you're at least Captain Kidd. It's the new ghost. So that's kind of the story. She's going to deal with her basically having to deal with being a poplar and befriending the new kid, who she kind of secretly has a crush on. And and now they got to go after the ghosts in the next issue, and the parents are kind of dealing with the fact that the mom's kind of annoyed because she wanted her kids to have a new life, and now they're doing this, but now but because they're growing up pretty much. The Paul Rudd kind of gives Paul Rudd guy gives a Gooberman, I think his name is in here. Mm-hmm. Gives her the Paul Rudd speech, and Ryan's like, "Well, hey, you wanted this, and now they're doing it." And she's like, "Yeah, but she's like, but I don't see them." He's like, "Well, that's teenagers. I'm used to being ignored." Substitute teacher. So, I thought it's actually a lot better than the first series. So, I noticed it's like 4 to 6 panels per page. Before it was like 12 panels in one page. They're trying to cram more into one issue when they do that, when they have more panels. You could just do manga, have like 6, one in the middle and then 2 or whatever. All right, number 7. World's Finest. It was okay. A lot of time traveling in this kind of craziness. So it turns out the two teams, the two Batman and Supermans, one's from the past, go to the future. One's from the future, go back to the past. And just a lot of nonsense. The Superman from the past is now the future. And he's like, Lois is flying? What the fuck? And he's like, I have a son, and he's gay.
That they put that in bold print was my only knock on the book.
Bruce Timm, I don't understand the retro look, but yeah. But she says right there, she's like, "Oh, quick, we have to move on. Our son, tell him to bring his boyfriend."
Bring his boyfriend.
Yeah! Exclamation mark. And I love this. I love like Dick Grayson's like he's like, let's zoom in.
It's like I could not have predicted any word of that sentence at any point.
Yeah. And who is Tim?
Oh yeah, because he gets mistaken for Tim.
It would have been hilarious. So if it would have been like Tim from like 30 years ago, and it's like, wait, I'm gay? What? But yeah. So come on, camera, focus. It's not good. I guess it's gonna do this for us later. Basically, yeah. So then they take on their villains, from the past or the future selves, and then, honestly, other than that stupid line, it was okay. But I like the fact that it was just like we even got this moment, and it's like Alfred and Nightwing wants to tell him, that he's gonna die and stuff, but they can't do that. Superman says no. He just says they're doing.
No, he wants to go hug him because he doesn't have him anymore.
Yeah,
he didn't want to go tell him he was going to die.
Yeah.
Now Batman didn't even want to do that because it would admit that they were time displaced.
He says, "Don't mess with the past. No one's the past. No, it's a hell of that, Alfie." And he's like, "Who on earth is this young man? And where did he get that costume? He doesn't even know it's Nightwing or Robin." Yeah. And Batman says, it's never mind. It's good to, and he's gonna say have you back, but Bruce, Bruce is just they're all just distraught, and then Batman's pretty much like now pissed off because now he saw his dead mentor. If anything, he should have said "fuck Tom King" in that panel, for killing off Alfred. That's the one unforgivable sin that a lot of people do not want to go back to these books because it got rid of Alfred. But I like they brought in the time spear like he had, and of course because everyone's now got a time gun and all that shit. It was okay. Wasn't the best. The art was decent, but let's just say that now they're trapped in like Buckaroo Bonanza, like in the middle of the desert and on the sands of time, because now they're stuck. They don't know where they're gonna go now because now they're trapped. So at this point, I'm like, just bring in Booster Gold. Anyway, it's okay book. Not the best. All right, number 6 for this week is Darkwing Duck. Introducing 2 more villains. I bring here. We get Crackerjack, and then we get the first one we get Steelbeak in the beginning. Just and basically, the whole thing is this whole point of this whole family that they've been doing with this book has been like him spending time with Goslin and then wanting to do family things, and stuff. Of course, she always wants to do like the fun stuff, and DW always he's like, you know what? How about we just, forget the nine numbing video games? We could attend a 3-hour lecture in history of fingerprint analysis. And just like she's like, what? But of course, Quackerjack's got his own arcade, and it says, not a villain's lair, legitimate business. Across the street from him, he's got another guy who's another Darkwing Duck villain. He's like a Ant-Man guy, in a sense. He has a shrink ring and everything. They decided to team up, of course, because they had problems, and they end up arriving at Quackerjack's place, as the family does, and then they basically have to find their way out of the mess. And in the process, they get shrunk. And have to try to get Goslin away from her machines because she's addicted to video games to save them. But they're a pinball machine or a skee ball machine. They end up getting a crane game. So overall, I thought it was really cool. And because so now at the end, of course, they're like, what should we do for these? And Galantra asks, what are we gonna do with them? And it's basically Darkwing Duck says, how about I guess we have mine. He takes them to the 3-hour basically lecture on fingerprint analysis, and they just want to die. Can't leave. Like I said, they tease Megavolt at the end. It's gonna be the next villain. It's if you are a fan of the series, it's actually been pretty good, especially for a Dynamite Disney book. Way better than that Gargoyles crap. This is good for all ages. And there's nothing in here talking about Goslin liking girls or that bullshit. This is straight up just a fan. If you're a fan of the cartoon, it's exactly like the cartoon was back in the day in the 90s. There's no preaching in it. It's nice. It's just a straight up story fun. All right. My number 5 is actually a reprint. Finally get a chance to read it. And that is Mark Spiegel's Monsters. Despite the art being kind of wonky, kind of almost looking like AI assisted a little bit at times.
I like the art.
Well, great. I'm not saying it's not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it kind of reminds me of that book Breen and I were reading with the girl and the werewolf and all that stuff. I forget what it's called.
Siren's Gate, I think.
Siren's Gate, yeah. This is kind of like computer graphic, animated art. So basically, someone's going around killing people, and this guy has this, and it's like this femme fatale chick. Have this old woman, and they want to know where this ring is. And she says, I'll never tell you where the ring is, it's but it says that if you harm me, the Slayer will come and get you. So we got this kid who's basically watching this old horror movie and stuff.
Night of the Living Dead.
Coming to get you, or something. Barbara. No.
It's Night of the Living Dead, the very beginning of it.
Yeah. So he's watching that. He sees old man Crowley outside his window watching him, and he's like, "What the hell?" All right. Then we get this guy who's actually told he's supposed to the Slayer. We get reference to the fact that he's out of practice. He has been there. He's looking for Fat Tony and stuff, and he ends up he's in Chicago, Illinois. Ends up basically just killing the guy, and he goes up, he basically walks in. He's like, gentlemen, apologize. I'm a bit out of practice. This might take a few minutes. Just basically doing the what you want to call it, the Daredevil hallway scene.
And also there's a little reference to a little kind of an homage to
Yeah.
the first John Wick movie.
Yeah.
Killing the guys with the
His
bottle.
pens. Yeah. In his eyes, the bottle. We'll get a flashback to 1896, London, England, and we see you see a man walking through there, and we see a bunch of these guys. There we had Abraham Van Helsing, and it looks like Dr. Jekyll as well. I'm not sure who the old man is. But they're talking about, and they're discussing how to kill Dracula. And then Dracula ends up popping through the glass window, and just basically killing the guy. And he's gonna like take them all out. Van Helsing goes basically grab the cross, and he jokes about how your faith is weak, old man. And it's like the darkness is stronger than you. Only they realize it was a ruse the whole entire time, and they work together to basically bound and imprison Dracula. I gotta say though, kind of looks like the Hammer version, doesn't it? Christopher Lee a little bit.
That guy.
That looks more like Bela Lugosi than Christopher Lee.
Bela Lugosi? Okay.
Yeah, it's an older Bela Lugosi to me, at least to me anyway.
So they imprison him, they bury him, they bound him in silver chain, and they leave him under the statue of Jesus there. Hopefully nobody will come out. He'll be there for the rest of eternity. But we get this guy back in 1981, Alabama. Go Obamas. And he's calling the phone to warn somebody, and Clint Abbott, turns out he's the Wolfman. So, and that's a preview for that. He says that Dracula is free. He's escaped. He's calling somebody, and so that's the preview for the next issue. Like I said, the art wasn't it was kind of weird. Looked like a computer assisted. But I thought
it looked a little too realistic.
But honestly, I liked it because it felt like I was watching an old horror movie. Like a B-roll movie. So I liked it. It was pretty good. But I hope I can find the other issues. Hope they get printed too. That's the 5th printing. Because for whatever reason, Diamond can't ship those out to every store.
I ordered them there. I was able to get 2 and 3, I think it was, or off of Prime. I waited too long to get number 2, so I did get that one. So I'm gonna have everything. I'll have everything except for 3.
All right, number 3. Batman and Robin, Year 1. A book I forgot about that it was even coming out because it feels like it's been about 2 months. Basically, if you love Golden Age Clayface, you're getting a bunch of Clayface in this issue. It's really cool. We get a little bit of a Two-Face. We got the General, who basically was mad because he let Batman live. He messed up. He wasn't supposed to let Batman know that the other guy he was imposing as, rich guy, find him. But he says, well, I need to have the body closed so I can remember what he looks like. Otherwise, it's hard to maintain the image. Basically, the General wants to know who Batman is. He's got a file, the GCP they were recording with them. We're working on who the secret identity who Batman could be. And get the little montage here of the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this Batman and Robin just kicking ass. He's like, holy overtime, Batman. Don't. No, really, it's me. Or is it just nuts? More nuts than usual now this week. And I love it because Robin, the young Dick Grayson, just puts his feet on the dash. He's like, get your damn feet off the dash of the Batmobile. It's just Robin just being Robin. And he's like, hey, can we stop for food? Yeah, I'm like, we stop for food in the Batmobile. Sure. No, Alfred's got food at home. And so I'm like, hold on, we need to stop here. He's like, where are we going? He's like, the Batman crashes through a building, a window and stuff. And he's like, warns these guys, hey, I think he said Morelli. Maroney put a bomb under the table, but it says like the whole, it's like, you guys call a truce to this gang war, or I'll or basically I'll let you die. So at the last minute, after they make a truce, he puts a fork in the subject. Literally the 1 second, walks away. Because I guess the general basically wants an army, but like a lot of the gangs are fighting. He'd rather have them like make peace, I guess, for some reason. But at the end, we see them, they get back, and it's the only thing that really weirds me out. If this is a throwback to like, I don't know, because it's like supposed to be Golden Age. Because how do they have computers?
Well, no, it's just with its sliding time scale.
Okay.
Robin would have been a kid. It said probably 2010 now.
Yeah. It just the whole that's I love this up to that point. It was like the computers. I'm like, damn it, I want to see computers because the car looks like it's from the 40s, and then you see computers here, and like, But anyway, probably the best part of this whole issue is shines out when Robin goes to school or Dick Grayson goes to school, is showing off. The bully comes after him, and like Billy basically wants to make fun of him, and then he ends up. Well, what happens here is that basically the child care welfare sister she shows up and she's checking on keep saying Robin, but Dick Grayson, make sure he's okay. She notices the bruise on his arms. Like, oh, what's playground? I got in a fight. That's the truth, It's come on, it's like it's playground code. I can't rat anybody out. So then, because because the principal says, "Oh, there's no fighting here whatsoever." So then he wrote a note. It's a note to the bully. Says, "You punch like a girl." So that way he gets punched. That way he can say, like, "Oh, see, that's how I got injured because I got punched here," not because he was out crime fighting. And he makes a joke. It's like, yeah, this sucks. And it's like, and he says, so I had to take. I hate this. I had to take a point blank punch for cover. And Bruce is like, I'm proud of you. He's like, yeah, it's worth another bag of frozen peas. And then I love how Alfred shows up. He's like, gentlemen served. Alas, we're now out of peas though because he's been using them for his face. But we get this with Clayface trying to make. He sees Two-Face, makes a copy of him, and then Clayface basically gets a little upset because. Well, Two-Face says, let me guess, he promised, the general guy promised to cure you, but I know his doctors. They can't do jack shit for you. So how about we work together instead? Yeah,
and he wouldn't even save him money on car insurance.
I know, right?
So Clayface should hate him.
So because this is, and I love this, the ending here like this, because they're trying to figure out who Batman and Robin is, they send goons that kill people. Who might be the actual Batman Robin. This guy and his son are brutally murdered in their kitchen.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been commonplace once upon a time, but in this hypersensitive 2025, I'm surprised they let him do that.
Yeah, I was like...
Yeah, and good for them.
Yeah, that's really cool that they did that. Number 3 is Moon Knight. Not digging the fan of the cover, but the story makes up for the bad cover. Holy crap. And I'll be shocked if it's not in Zach's top 5.
Higher.
Higher than your top 5?
Mm-hmm.
What's higher than your top 5?
Top 3.
Well, yeah. No, I mean,
so it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I thought it was higher than number 1.
Last issue, this woman stabbed Moon Knight with a sword. Turns out the sword is actually sentient, and it's basically a soul collector. Kind of reminds me. Remember Katana's blade? When you cut somebody, their soul gets trapped inside the blade. It's kind of like this too. But Moon Knight said, learns more. He talks about them. He's like, and then talks more of the sword, and. It learns a story about who Carver is, the girl and stuff. Apparently, she worked for, I guess, S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Roxxon.
Yeah, Roxxon sent him to Vanheim and they're getting slaughtered by these beasts, these gargle things, and the sword calls out to her. So he says, like, "I'll help you get revenge, but you're eternally, bound to me because you have to basically keep killing me, or keep killing people in order to feed me souls."
Yeah, it's if you've seen the Legend of Vox Machina, that Critical Role show, there's a sword that is pretty much the same thing. Like,
Yeah, so it's like House of Ideas, House of Stone Ideas.
It works though.
It does. Oh yeah, who wants Civil War in a premiere edition? Now you get it.
I'll pick that up though.
Yeah,
I don't need the Old Man Logan because I have a hardcover of that. I almost got the Winter Soldier one.
So you didn't own this though? These are 2 Mark Millar books that they're promoting.
2 Mark Millars and a Matt Fraction got in there somehow.
Well, I mean, but I'm the fact that we even got a 1 Mark Millar thing because because
it's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so at the end of this, basically it says like, we find out what the demon looks like that controls the sword. He's a dragon. Instead of collecting gold, he's like, well, fuck, I want souls for some reason. But I'm like, oh, it's that one freaking dragon from The Hobbit.
You know what? For a lot, it really is though.
It looks like that way. Yeah,
it really is.
So Moon Knight says, he's like, well, you're an idiot. You're trying to collect my soul. My soul's already spoken for, and my daddy's gonna kick your ass, pretty much. And that's kind of what happens. He breaks free the chain using his powers. I said the art is really good in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Daddy Khonshu comes, says, like, well, the fuck are you doing with my son, bro? And
don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Yeah, he's like, he's gonna kill him, and Moon Knight's like, no, hold on, Dad, I got use for this bitch. Pretty much at the end, he's like, and Moon Knight pretty much says like, how about we just do this? Moon Knight's like, how about make him serve me? So now Moon Knight's got a fucking sword. Yeah, and and he releases the carver from her basically her bound to the sword, sets her free. And so next issue they show him going against the Asgardian, who they mentioned that he's an Asgardian, but he's not a god, so he's a nobody Asgardian. So he doesn't have the abilities that the gods do as the other Asgardians. He's just a nobody. He has, some stuff, physical things, but he's not like Thor or any of them. But great book. The whole dragon sword thing turned it around because I was like going in, I was like, that cover, I'm like, I don't care for the cover. Number 2 is Sonic the Hedgehog. If you have not read this series, this is gonna be a kind of spoilerly issue 2. That's like gonna be the other ones. This is issue 3. The Justice League is what came to the basically Sonic's world, and their Darkseid was behind them. Darkseid wants the Chaos Emeralds. He wants to basically to take over all the multiverse. I know, basic plot. It's Ian Flynn. It's Matt Herm. It's all the Sonic the Hedgehog IDW team, basically just writing a Justice League story with Sonic the Hedgehog. So because they're here now, and like Drifter's like, dear God. So, he's like Zach. If you came across, he's like, oh no, I'm stuck with these people. Kind of like he says every Thursday night. But we get, because before the Green Lantern, Hal, I think was it John or Hal? I can't remember what it was. I think it was Hal in the first book. He left him a ring for Silver. Silver already has like the powers as it is, but he's teaming up with Chip, Tomar, and Kilowog. Chip, who's been dead for a while now. So I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And of course, this is on a continuity a little bit, obviously, because Sinestro's got the Yellow Lantern, and the Yellow Lantern has a Chaos Emerald, power up. And pretty much that's how they kind of defeat him, like just being like a Sonic thing, Pickle Hammers. And you get the Emerald stuff. It's a lot of cool stuff. So basically, every villain in this has a Chaos Emerald power up. Grodd has one too. That's he's able to use mind control. We get Hawk Woman or Hawk Girl, and Supergirl, and then we get Amy Rose with a Pico Hander, Wonder Woman Pico Hander, and she's got the lasso of truth. Up, and they team up and take down Grodd, who's invading Metropolis. Or no, was it? Where was it? Washington D.C. That's where they're at. So at the end, kind of like it's just she's kind of fangirling a little bit too and stuff, because that's what Amy Rose does. She fangirls over other stronger women. But the best thing I love to hear was we get Knuckles gliding around in a Superman costume, meets with Lois Lane, and then he's like, yeah, and she's like, yeah, Lex Luthor wants to speak to you and all stuff. They feel, so you try to go, but don't trust him. He's a worm. This is classic Lex Luthor from the post-crisis, kind of round, obtuse stuff, and he thinks he's gonna be able to convince Knuckles work with him. He's like, but Knuckles like, dude, I don't trust bald people. I already was betrayed by one of them. And he gives them he thinks he has kryptonite, but it's actually Chaos Emerald. And so Knuckles comes back. He's like, dude, did you really just think you're gonna poison me, thinking this was kryptonite? Kind of freaking him out. So then we got Shadow as Batman. It's like I said, these books are fun because they said these are just aimed towards kids, or anybody, adults, kids. And there's there's nothing in here that a kid can read that that'll be perverse or anything like that, or vulgar. Just true to the characters. So Shadow defeats the Joker, after he's getting his little Batmobile blown up. And why is this not a toy? That's what I want. I want Shadow with a Batmobile. Even what's her name? Amy Rose has an invisible car. It's not a jet, but it's a flying car. Then we have, after he defeats the Joker, then we have Sonic in the Flash costume taking on Reverse Flash. And I love it because Sonic's it's there's a lot of games. Basically lets Reverse Flash think that he's faster than he is, but then he starts laying some punches on him, and he's like, but yeah, you may be a little faster, but you're never getting this emerald thing. And he's like, what the hell is soda can? Sonic's outsmarted him, and he just does this. I love this. I got a million punches within 3 seconds. I love this. And then, of course, you see Amy here with her little flying jet car. These should be toys, DC. Why aren't you? If you're gonna make a book of this, you should have a toy line. Stupid. Because this is no different than having a Super Friends. They did back in the day. The Superpowers toy line.
Mm-hmm. They still make those too.
So they arrive here. They arrive at the Hall of Justice, and they're like, "What the hell is this? Green Knuckles? It's Beast Boy."
Okay,
Yes,
that actually is kind of funny.
And he's been hanging out with Tails, and Tails is just dressed like Cyborg for no reason. Well, he builds his own tech, so he's like, So they realized that all the emeralds are here. They found it, so they realized that their world is still around, because the last remaining emerald is on their own world. So they think they can track a way to get home. The question is, should they? Is it safe? Because right now, because the Justice League gave their lives to keep Darkseid from taking over the place, so he's kind of trapped in that world. But at the end, they decide they have to go back, so they basically do the heroic thing, and they're gonna go save the day. And Terrific's basically thank God they left. So, like I said, this is a tongue-in-cheek, humor book for kids. And hey, Zach, maybe we'll get Fortnite skins.
Maybe. No, probably not. They don't have Sonic in Fortnite.
Well, the next why isn't there a Sonic game right now? You can get skins.
I thought there was one that was coming out soon. Yeah. Maybe it already came out.
Yeah. Number 1 book of the week is Redcoat. I got this cover because honestly, I like the Annie Oakley look, background. And this is a story of him just learning more about the Northerner. and learning his origins, where he comes from. He says, and if you don't want spoilers, turn away right now. But basically, the Northerner, it's revealed in this book that he comes from America that shouldn't exist. We're the South one, and he's here to stop a guy who's from the future, who's basically is on his way to give the South an arsenal of like machine guns.
The Cobbler.
The Cobbler. I know, right?
What a name.
I know, right? I'm like, that's not an Adam Sandler. But so he's got a lot of future tag, and then there's even like, but I love this though. Remember Coca-Cola? It's Dixie Cola.
Dixie Cola
on the bottom left there. And it says Department of Historic Preservation, the Battle of Shiloh, because that's where they're going. The book said the I'm 3O operations, Civil War day by day, and it has the other books are like Simple Sabotage Field Manual, Civil War Curiosities. But
did you like the scene where he pulls the $5 bill out of his wallet and it's still Lincoln? He goes, "Okay, it hasn't happened yet."
Yeah. I'll tell you, it was right here. $5 Lincoln. I was like, what? But what really made me smile in this whole entire book, you seen a Snickers bar?
Yeah.
Snickers is still alive, and when the
Not
South
yourself.
wins.
You haven't.
But so of course the Northern some Northmen soldiers come up, and
the Northerner, he comes from that, but he knows about the way the future is supposed to be because the $5 bill is still Lincoln. And the Snickers probably came from the other world too. Who knows?
Yeah, but so these guys they heard that this guy, he basically has information on how to win the war, and they're gonna confront him. But he pulls his little machine gun on him and takes him out. Snicker bar rapper follows on there, and I love this. It's like, because here's a conversation between the little orphan girl from the first issue, or the couple issues ago, and she's talking to him about Simon Pierre, about basically about his whole about the Northerner and stuff, and they eventually start talking about he's like, about magic, and he says like, well, magic exists, and it's like, and she's like, well, why does anybody use it to save us, meaning the slaves and stuff, free them if it's so important. So there's a kind of heart-wrenching kind of moments in here too. They come in there to find that the Cobbler's place where he's supposed to be, and he basically bought this place out, and it's the ambush, and we get a shootout between the Cobbler and the Northmen. Awesome. It's cool. And the guy ends up throwing, the Cobbler throws a grenade. And of course, Simon Pierre has no idea what the hell a grenade is. So the Northern pushes him out of the way, and the house explodes, and then he's making his getaway, and so basically they're going to head to go try and stop this guy from basically going to giving the guns.
I like the $3.99 cent bounty on top of that.
Yeah, right. Right.
That was clever. That's a clever solicit.
Yeah. So then I saw this on the back too, which really, if you guys look at the back cover, most people don't, because there's only on the back cover, but no Hyde Street.
Oh yeah, it's another Hyde Street thing.
Sisterhood. I don't know who this writer is.
5-issue miniseries. Oh, it's it. Hang on, I'll look it up. Hang on. Maytel Shoot.
Yeah.
I
will get anything for Hyde Street. I love that series.
That's the girl that wrote this woman.
The Devour.
Our girl on the.
Okay. Oh, cool.
That's the same author.
Right. She wrote Devour.
Yeah, cool. Then I look forward then.
Clearly, they like Devour over there. Then.
Yeah, but like I said, this is a really good series. That's why it's my number one. It's even if this book, if I put this up against any other book that's coming out that we read this year, Red Coat is still number one.
I know there are a lot of people that criticized Devour because they didn't know who this woman was, and that it wasn't as good as the other books, and it wasn't, because she's not as good as the industry legends that are already working there. But for a first time out, Devour wasn't bad.
Yeah. We'll quickly look at who's popping in the chats here. Looks like Summer's here. That's right. We got Summoner. One Slick Dude's here too. Let's see here. What's up, Dave? What's up? Alrighty then. Who wants to go next? Because after you guys are done, I'll just do my back issues. So, I won't hold you guys up if you have to leave. So.
I guess
Jack,
I can.
You gotta go.
I guess I can go. No, I mean I can. And my mom just got back in town for good a few minutes ago. So
she's now in Alaska.
Yep, she's moving back up because she's staying.
Oh, that's gonna be good for her joints.
No, she's now that my father is no longer
sure.
So she doesn't like living alone. She's just moving up and staying with my sister. She's staying there forever. And so I might have to.
You know what though? That's the whole point of kids. Take care of you when you get old.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my mom around, so that's always good. So after we get done here, I might slide on down over and
go ahead.
Make her regret having at least one of her 5 kids. She's I can't win them all.
I'm sure she'll never say that aloud.
No, out loud. She's like, well, I had 4 of the 5 are good.
All right.
But anyway, so I've got 14 and then a couple of back issues.
All right.
14. Well, I better.
I was waiting for to see if you're going to turn your camera on. Huh?
Wow, I'm
there
on.
There you
top. Go. Okay, number 14. I did not I have a habit of doing this. I did not notice who wrote this until I got it home.
It's from the annual.
The slot machine.
Yes.
Yeah. Great cover that fools you and thinking it's going to be a good book.
Yeah.
I heard it was actually. I heard it was basically just like a recapping of Superman. So
sure.
If somebody wanted to jump on.
They are doing is I don't know if this. What I think it looks like he's doing is he's taking all the different eras of Batman. I mean, Superman, like the pre-crisis, Burn, and some of the other things, and then just combining certain elements of that into the continuity.
So it's nothing new. He's just basically combining stuff.
Yeah. So like there's the Superboy. They have him with Superboy, and the fact that Lex and him knew each other in Smallville. Yeah. And then there's a part where once he gets to Metropolis, they have him doing stuff, and then Clark breaks the story on there. They even have the blur, the red and blue blur in there, so that's including Smallville into stuff like this. And
that's what we want. Just combine all of the bad movies together.
Yeah, so they're which is kind of weird.
Was Zack Snyder reference in there too?
Not that I noticed.
Bastards. Hashtag bring it back. That's good.
But then, of course, they have to get the dog. That's Crypto right there.
Of course, because now Crypto forever will look like that damn dog because of the movie.
No such thing as a damn dog. All dogs are good dogs.
Well, that's an ugly dog, bro. That's not Crypto.
But one thing that's really kind of weird is they have this big thing coming to Earth, and he goes up to save it, and it turns out it's all kryptonite, and most of it is him saving, trying to stop it from hitting Earth. And that's where he's having all the flashbacks and all this stuff.
Wait, so he went to go destroy an asteroid that was full of kryptonite? Oh, wasn't that a movie we had, an animated DC movie? And Batman had, they had to go up there in a ship that one of the guys, I forgot what the little genius boy was in the DC comic books, but he built a half Batman, half Superman toy. I mean, like a giant.
Oh yes, I remember that. But
yeah, I forget what it's called.
But so he winds up crashing it, and he's unconscious for 3 months, and you've got John Jones posing as Clark Kent. So he doesn't. People don't.
In the 3 months he was gone, Lois moved on with somebody else.
No, she's staying up at the JLA.
Tower. Yeah.
So they got up there, but what they did was Batman pulls him aside and says, there is this nation state called El Corrado, and they had taken all the this thing was huge, just about all kryptonite. They had taken it and they had built their city out of kryptonite and this place out of kryptonite. So they are selling it to all bidders, and so all the superpowered people are having problems now.
That's great, because then Superman can't go in there and save the day and all. Did they wear red MAGA hats and like, stay out of our city, alien? You're legal.
Was that Connor Kent I saw there?
In the jacket, or the black jacket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Isn't he out in space right now?
He is.
Yes. He is.
Yes, that was
space.
Yes, it is Connor. It says, Connor, Kara, you're injured. What happened to you? So yeah, that is Connor.
Connor's on the other side of the galaxy right now.
Yep.
Not unless you're going by what the slot machine is. So I don't know if this is in continuity or.
Well, it's supposed to be in continuity because I think it's it's referenced in other books too.
Yeah.
13. Absolute Flash. Number 3. It continues with everything. Turns out that he running away from the place killed Barry, or it seems like he killed Barry, because the force of him running away took Barry into the thing and it killed him. So there's just more stuff going on, and he finally gets his outfit and everything. 12 is the Ultimates, and I'm done. It's just, this is not good. The only
green armor. Who the heck was that?
that
Iron King?
I don't know, but it's just turns out that
more
Mr.
infighting.
Fantastic or Reed Richards, Dr. Doom had allowed some people to die in order to.
That was the. I got a question. Does Reed Richards leave and the team?
No, they had a big
rumor that he was gonna leave the Avengers. Doom was gonna leave for his own team.
Not in this one, but there was a discussion. Is like, wait a minute, you let us die. This is no. I had to do this in order to allow for this to happen, and there was a discussion, and then they forgave him and all that stuff because it was supposed to work out right.
I've been reading online that people are speculating he's going to form his own team because he can't work with Tony. He wants to be his own methods of taking down the Maker, who's supposed to return.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
I'm not reading the book, but I mean, well, that's be something that Doom would do. Be like, well, that's nice, We're gonna do the adult way and just kill him.
I was just like, okay, I wasn't reading it too intently because I was bored with it. But 14, 13, 12.
Be interesting to do at the end of this whole Ultimate universe, if they ever do defeat the Maker, if they're able to reset their world and bring back like Sue and Ben and Johnny and stuff,
which is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll ever accomplish that in this series, or do you think Marvel will cancel Hickman's whole entire universe before it happens, or we'll get Krakoa too? Ultimate Krakoa universe, run by Gary Duggan.
I wouldn't know. I haven't read any of that stuff. Okay, number 11, Hulk 25, with a wraparound.
Nice.
You got the ugly Hulk.
Yes, and so the young girl is now a skinwalker, and the werewolf she turns into was something that an Asgardian that Thor had fought years before and had killed people. So he's coming to try and stop that person from taking over the kid. And so he's like, "Okay, you need to come to Asgard. You need to answer for your crimes." And Hulk's like, "No, this kid's with me." And so they fight. It's a good fight.
It's a very good fight.
Yes, and Hulk is just being Hulk. He says he didn't care. He's just like, "Look, I don't care about your stuff. This is I said I'd protect the kid. I'm protecting him." And they throw hard, and it's a pretty good fight. Then I think this would be what I think this is 10. I think
8.
No, I mean.
Oh, you mean like your countdown?
Yeah.
I forgot.
And so we went over that. And number nine. Beatles reference, by the way. Another too long of a story arc by Tom Taylor.
You seem to be more susceptible to the reading Tom Taylor books than I am sticking a needle in my eye.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
I don't know.
Marnia, I'll diss Gary Duggan as much as I want. His books were mid.
He did write a very boring Guardians of the Galaxy run.
Oh my gosh.
Had like two good issues out of his entire Guardians run. And they were one-offs. So they didn't even contribute to a larger story.
Yeah, his stories are kind of good, but the story arcs take too long. It's like you're going too long. And I'm not talking Duggan, I'm talking Taylor. I haven't read any of the Duggan stuff, so.
The only thing that Gary Duggan did was have Tony get a new suit and bang Emma Frost.
Marry
and who wouldn't?
Yeah, that too. Well, we know they marry. We don't know if they, knock boots, but yeah, there was very limited. The villain sucked the whole entire his own run in that comic book series. But yes, it was slightly better than when your boy's been gone through. But I can't give him that much praise because he didn't do much with them.
But one good thing about this is you do get to see Bullock in his first week on the job.
Also, Duggan made Tony an alcoholic again by having him fall off the wagon and start drinking. That was fun.
Well, you aren't an alcoholic once again. You're either a practicing or non-practicing.
Well, Marvel really tried to erase the whole demon in the bottle thing and stuff. It seems like they're ashamed by that. They're like, "Oh yeah, our hero did. He's
like
clean."
Breen and I are inactive, and
they're like volcanoes.
Yes.
Yeah, Marvel was so embarrassed by Demon in a Bottle that they did a 40-part story revisiting it 3 years later.
3 years later. How long ago was that?
A lot of years.
This was
I'm saying their current Marvel is embarrassed by that. They don't
no, actually they're not, because current Marvel hates Tony Stark and they want him to have all the flaws they can possibly give him. So that
even uncles, you think they're pro uncles?
Yeah, so that true heroes like Carol Danvers can, put him in his place.
Even though Carol Danvers is also an alcoholic.
No, that they have swept under the rug.
Excuse me.
In fact, Tony sponsored Carol Danvers when she was going through her.
Oh, and that's from what I understand. That is, Brandon, correct me on this if I'm wrong. That is problematic for a male to, someone of the opposite sex to sponsor someone from the other.
I don't know. I never had one or was.
Yeah, neither have I. But I've heard that's problematic. Anyway, we're straying from topic. But you do get to see him. They're investigating this thing, and it's something that Bullock was investigating on his first week, and he almost got shot. And his partner told him, "Hey, back down," and took a bribe, gave some stuff to a little bit of money to Bullock, and then the guy wound up being kicked out by Internal Affairs, and Bullock had testified against him. And we get back to him later, and his partner was
that a flashback?
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
was
is
gonna say
that-
like Bullock was really young in that one.
Yeah,
You're
well, it was
here,
his first.
buddy.
It was his first week on the job, and the guy said, he's like, no hard feelings. You were lucky you did what you had to do. I was
Yeah.
out the door anyway, but it looks like they're almost finished with it. And then we have this, which is good. We've already gone
I'm just
over
waiting
this
for Batman to have a sister he didn't know about. His dad
Oh,
cheated on his mom.
they already had they already did the brother. It was supposedly a brother that he didn't know about, but then it wasn't. So,
But that's Tom Taylor is famous for is Nightwing giving him a sister, and tarnishing his parents, their love for one another, saying that one of them cheated on the other one.
10, 9, 8. Okay, then 7, Vatican City #2.
Hey, you got that.
And Vatican City.
And they're going. They're fighting fighting the vampires and all that stuff. There shows you what happens, what's under.
I can understand the Superman Unlimited because you can't read that small print because you're old, but like that says in big font says Vatican City, and you're like, that's a warning.
Actually, it wasn't bad, but I'm not sorry that it's only a 3-issue series.
Yeah,
the art got better.
He actually did.
Really?
Here, okay. You want to show it, Eric, or do you want to try?
No, go ahead.
That's good, because yeah,
That
that is one of the things in there. It's
yes, that right there looked better.
Yeah,
it is getting a little. It's not as cartoony.
Little sepia toned, but I'm okay with that.
It is a little substandard and stuff, but it's not as.
Wish they stopped with the glossy paper though.
It's not as bad as it was in the first one, where it just looked like some of the old anime stuff that they used to. But
yeah. Oh, I'll check it out, and I'll go back and pick up another issue if they have one.
Then this we went over that, and this was. I think this is number 5. This was a blind buy, and it was really good, except for complaining about art. This was written and drawn by a guy by the name of Xander Cannon. When he falls asleep, our nightmare begins. It's basically a guy. You have this dude. He's wakes up and he's late for. He's been called and said that he's late for church, and I don't like the way they did this. It's kind of black and white, but the art, they got to make his glasses red for some reason.
I put that back because of that art.
Yeah, but I guess there was a murder in the city, and his city, and his mom's cat is missing and stuff. And he goes outside, and there is cat guts and stuff, and or guts all over his.
The synopsis, if it's true, the synopsis about a guy, basically, he's a serial killer at nighttime when he's sleeping. Something like that.
Yeah. They're trying to figure out, there's some deaths.
Is it though? Or is
we don't know who it is and stuff like that, but it only happens when he's sleeping, so it could be him, could not be,
It would be awesome if he was a werewolf. You didn't know it. That's why it's covered in blood.
And then 4, 3. Okay, number 4. This is also another blind buy, and I just had to get it because of the cover.
It's an Alicia buy.
No, I had to get it because of the title, and I did not realize it was a second issue until I got it. But Moonshine Bigfoot.
Wow.
Number 2.
That just screams Tennessee.
And I'm just like
whiskey.
It's actually
moonshine.
But I mean, come on, Moonshine Bigfoot, and it's a number 2, but it's just so it picks up. You got these. It gives us kind of a brief recap of what happened in the first issue, and you've got Moonshine Bigfoot who does. He goes into the family business of doing doing moonshine and selling the stuff. Then you got another guy whose family business is trying to take over the world.
Do you know what would have been a better title? Moonshine and Whiskey would have been so much better.
And it's really kind of funny, and the art is really good. It's just really funny, and they just they have a guy in there. Where is it? He sort of looks like one of the iterations of the Beast, if you look at that a little bit, but not blue.
Yeah, Hank. Yeah.
Yeah. And they've got.
He was created by Gravity Falls.
They've got a guy in there. Let me see if I can find this, which is really funny. He looks like a certain wrestler. I can't find it. Oh, a little bit of it like an old Hulk Hogan, and he calls everybody. He's like, hell yeah, brother. But then he also sort of does a little bit of
like Jesse Ventura a little bit too.
Yeah, true. And they also have him doing a little bit of oh yeah, so little slight homages to
like
Macho Man.
If it's like a guy who turns into a werewolf, is that what it is? The moon thing is on the cover. It could look like a werewolf on the cover.
Yeah. He's just Bigfoot.
Or Bigfoot.
Now I was
saying they should call it Whiskey and Moonshine, and have like Moonshine be the girl's name and Whiskey be the guy because he drinks whiskey and turns into a werewolf.
Like a Lightfoot, 10-speed,
like a cop thing drama. That'd be awesome. Like a thing.
Okay, number 3, and these could be interchangeable.
Number 3 for Redcoat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What?
You know how much I like my monster books. Number 2 is also another one that I just got that was kind of a blind buy. Los Monstros by Dark Horse. $4.99, and it is really good. It's by script by James Robinson, art by Jesus Marino.
Oh, I know that name.
We didn't get that.
No, Chop didn't have it all.
Yeah, it shows some art. I want to see if I need to. You tell my shop they need to get it.
It is okay. Let me show you some. The art is,
and hold it up for more than like 3 seconds, okay? So you can see. Okay, all right. Looks pretty good.
You have a central character. This is who is a private detective, right? He is a former cop who got kind of kicked off the force, but he's also a werewolf, and this is where monsters exist. They've come out, and they're publicly known, and so they had at some point they all came into like one city.
One city.
And so it's in California, so that's why it's Los Monstros as opposed to like Los Angeles or something like that. And there's all sort of different monsters and stuff like that. And so his thing is he's hired to find a little vampire kid at the beginning, and you get it at the beginning.
It could also mean the monsters.
Yes.
I thought it was taking place in Mexico, Los Monstros, and they have wrestling. Luchador.
But then he gets.
Does a dude turn into a monster?
Yes, he is a werewolf, and he turns into a. That's it.
He's a werewolf cop.
Yes, he's like persona non grata in the police department because I guess he got kicked out for
being a werewolf.
No, because everyone else in the city is monsters. So it's not that. It's just that he had done some.
Everybody in the city is monsters.
Yes,
and they are just prejudiced against werewolves.
No, he was a dirty cop.
Well, he's a werewolf. They got fleas.
But so he gets hired. He goes to this diner where he goes to eat, and he's got this this waitress right there who was a vampire. She's like, "Look, I'm tired of you waiting for me to ask me out. We're gonna ask you out. Ask me out." And he gets hired by a human who has to have a pass to come into the city because it's dangerous for humans to come to the city and all that. And his girlfriend from way back in the day had been turned into a vampire, and she offered to turn him, and he's like, no. but he just wants to see her again before he dies. So he hires this guy to find his girlfriend, and it might be an issue. And that's the captain of the local police precinct. But
Bride of Frankenstein.
yes, and so they,
or also known as the Pride of Frankenstein in June.
Yeah, that looks cool. I gotta look into that.
it is. It's. Don't think I'm really giving it all that much justice by the description of it, but it's really good.
I just say how many issues it's going to be.
Not that I saw. This is one. And there is obviously to be continued.
It says Juan.
Yes. And then number 1 is Monsters. Okay, then I've got a couple back issues. Vatican City number 1, because I had got, I had to pick up number 1 because 2 came out and I got number 1 and read that. Today I went in and picked up Moonstone Bigfoot number 1 because I did not realize that this was number 2. I picked up number 2 until I got home, and so I had him pull number 1 for me.
Dude's got not just big feet; he's got big like calves.
Yes,
and little thighs.
And then while I was there, I was talking to a guy about wrestling and stuff and comics, and I was standing next to a box of back issues, and I noticed they had. Have you heard of Chamber of Chills there, Breen?
Yes.
I got number 4 and number 2.
The original Chamber of Chills had that cover with the highball glass that the woman's looking through, and she's
really? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I just sold.
But this is, I guess, this is the Marvel one as opposed to.
Well, yeah. The name was in public domain by then, so they just used that for a reprint series.
But this one is, this was $7. It was number 4. It was $7, and it was restored, I guess, because this is fine, restored. And this one had first appearance of John Jakes Brack the Barbarian. So, but yep, that's it. I haven't read those yet, but I just got those right before.
One of your light bulbs burn out just now?
I about to say, yeah.
Oh,
he's Batman now.
Probably. It's
in the witness protection mode.
Yes, I didn't go
out.
Is
that you? Jump in the water.
I don't know. Maybe something got moved or something like that. It's just
say, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Maybe it's just that I'm getting the sun shifted up to right behind my door.
No, it's a good look. You should keep it.
Yes. The less you guys get to see, the better. But
yes. It helps people who watch this channel go towards the light.
Yes, and not have to regurgitate their lunch by seeing the face. But
okay, I didn't say that, but go with that. Sure. All right, Zachariah, you're up.
I did not give you permission to use my government name.
Okay. How about it's Binksy time?
Hate that.
Zachariah sounds pretty good now, isn't it?
Yep, exactly.
Freaking golly, that Hocus Pocus movie is the bane.
Well, that's why you got the name Zachariah, because you got the Amish beard going.
This isn't the Amish beard. No, it's Amish beard. When it's Amish beard, that's when it's time to go in and get it trimmed.
Those Amish beards are kind of long.
Yeah,
and
they aren't easy top long, but they're long.
And the Amish don't have mustaches.
This is the ideal right here.
All right, you don't have mustaches? That's kind of weird.
I had a mustache for a while. When I was in my early 20s, I did. Well, it wasn't just a mustache. It was the whole goatee.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
In early 20s. When was that? Like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, sure.
I shaved my mustache out, but this has a beard going.
I'm 37 and like.
Yeah, as far as I know, the Amish are the only ones that do that.
Just shave out their mustache, but keep the rest of the beard going.
Yeah,
that's just weird.
It's weird. It is.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, sure.
Got a good amount of books this week, more than I intended to get actually, but I got a trade, and they're all good. I tried to organize them the best I could in order of the ones I liked.
Well, now we know what church you go to. We can find you in Louisiana.
buddy, I got T-shirts from like 5 different churches. This is nothing. I can wear a different one every stream.
Choose one. Why are you going to all these different churches, bro?
They're from different churches I've been to in the past. I just don't throw T-shirts away.
You've been
is that counting the Church of Scientology?
I have not been to that one. No.
You just
you wouldn't be able to admit to it even if you went.
Like Zach's going to a new church. It's like, do you guys get like new members benefits, like cookies, like cookies and food? Like, get like, free meal, and then I leave.
All right, enough about that. We're gonna start off with New Gods number 6.
With the Blue Beetle.
No, this is Death.
Blasphemy.
This is the Black Racer. This has been really good so far. Evan Cagle, I think he is credited on here as the main.
They whitewashed the Black Racer?
What?
Or the?
I think it's just the coloring, dude. I think it's just the color job.
His face looks white. Because remember the original guy was this guy in skis.
It's the mask. What are you talking about? Anyway,
good
issue. Yeah. Evan Cagle is not the main artist. He's only doing stuff. He's only in this for a couple of pages, and it's the pages that take place on Earth. But the bulk of this issue, so in previous in issue number 5, I think Light Ray ends up sacrificing himself so that the rest of the New Gods can escape New Genesis, and so he dies. The majority of this book is the afterlife of him, like, you know, him and Black Racer, they have like this bit of a conversation. Light Ray wants to come back from death. I think he probably will. The setup here makes it seem like he will. I'm not sure. But it's basically him and Death having a conversation. You kind of find out how Death kind of works when the Black Racer catches up to you. Outside of that, like High Father is kind of suffering because he's under a lot of duress because Light Ray just died. But then, yeah, they arrive on Earth. In the last issue, Orion had gone to like Death Punch. He was going to knock out, like basically obliterate Mr. Miracle. And then Superman like swooped in at the last minute. And so Superman's like, you know what? I've had a good punch from you before. It didn't seem like you were really trying to kill anybody. So Superman and Orion kind of chatting there. And then the New Gods, their spaceship that they're crashing Earth on, the Justice League kind of helps them land softer, basically.
Do they show the Black Racer in the interior?
Yeah, the art. So the guy who was doing the art in that, like, it's this very watercolory artist, which I'm not super big. I'm not super into. So that's one right there. That's Black Racer talking to Light Ray.
He just
Right
maybe it's your monitor light, but just saying he looks very light skinned.
I mean, no, I don't know.
I guess they still, because that cover, man, he looked like they just made a white guy out of the Black Racer.
I think it's just the color. I think it's just the coloring.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there he is right there.
Okay.
So
a lot of Osmo kind of art going there.
It's very watercolory. I'm not a humongous fan of it. I much prefer like this. This is the Evan Cagle.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, like I said, Orion, Superman, the Justice League. That is the better part. So,
yeah, because Kirby. So when they had Kirby to do some, he was like Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Like skin color. It was like, so just the art, the colors here is like
they would never whitewash a character. Not current day.
I was just saying, I was ready to just.
That'd be funny if they did. All right,
I have a nervous breakdown there because I thought they actually went like the
we got Absolute Flash issue number 3. This is a little bit lower. It's kind of funny because it's a Flash book. It is moving a little slow. There are a lot of parts of this that I like, but compared to Superman and Batman, it feels like it's running a little slow. Maybe I think it'll start to pick up speed after this issue. Pun intended. But a lot of it is centered around the little Grodd monkey here, who is a science experiment that the military uses. He's got telepathy powers, and he kind of does a Vulcan mind meld with Wally. There's some cool stuff here. Wally's feeling guilty because he feels like he killed Barry. And then the rogues, you know, they're hunting after Wally. The Boomerang, this version of Boomerang can fly. He's got like a giant hang glider Boomerang. That's really cool. And then Wally gets his suit. He takes the suit off of Barry. It was Barry's suit. So now Wally has it. So he's kind of wearing a dead guy's suit, but it looks cool though. You probably won't like it. It's the red with the black. I know you don't like the black on the Flash suit.
Every time I see this cover, I think of the John Bon Jovi song, "Bad Medicine."
But like, there's this cool moment. They're both reminiscing about their moms and how they both lose their moms, and it's kind of sad actually. Like,
What are her mom's name? Martha.
So like Wally's
I
mom,
just say that name.
Her in the hospital. You see her funeral, and then Grodd, you see he's taken from his mom as a baby. It's like, dang man, that got real quick. But yeah, the art is great though. Nick Robles, I think, is the guy who's the artist. I mean, the art is great. Very kinetic, very energetic. I dig it a lot. I tried to find it earlier, and it's in here somewhere. There's the new suit though, the Flash suit. Kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. It's similar to like the Adam Strange.
Oh, here it is. Somebody pointed out that Paul crossed over from Amazing Spider-Man, and now he's in Absolute Flash.
He's even got the man bun.
Somebody was like, "Get the monkey away from this guy."
Yeah, every time you show that cover, it's like basically the line is in Bon Jovi's Bad Medicine. I got a Jones for your affection like a monkey on my back. Mm-hmm. So every time you show that, it's I think of that line from this song.
Well, don't worry, we'll move on from that.
That book is like Bad Medicine.
Ultimates number 12. I had to get the Sanford Green variant. I mean, I think that's just too cool. I like the design. I like the layout of it. It's really cool. Most of the team is on here. So suspiciously, one teammate is absent. At least I can't find them on this. So they've been teasing for a while that one of the members is a mole for the Makers Council for the bad guys. And they reveal who that is in this issue. I'm a little disappointed.
Let me see the cover. I want to know who's not on there. We got Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But we don't have Wasp.
No, you don't have Wasp. You also don't have... there's a few other ones that you don't have. You don't see America Chavez isn't on here. You've got Luke Cage. They are counting Luke Cage as a member of the Ultimates.
It's not a good Avenger book unless you have America Chavez on the cover.
But it's not a very action-heavy book. It is very exposition-heavy. You do find out some other stuff in here, like Reed has been trying to recreate. We saw this like one of the earlier issues. He was trying to recreate the cosmic rays that gave the Fantastic Four their powers. And so he says that, all those mice died. He couldn't recreate it. And you find out he did save everybody's life. Like people did die, but then Doom went and used the time machine basically and brought them back. But they still have memories of them, like nightmares of dying. And so now moving forward, they're doing what they call Ultimates 3.0. They were on Ultimates 2.0.
I saw that the new cover, like it's gonna have like a little serpent.
Yeah. So now they're on Ultimates 3.0, and they're kind of changing up their tactics. Steve was like, you tried doing the origin boxes where Tony was sending everybody their little starter kits. Apparently, Spider-Man's the only one that was a success. Everybody else seems to have failed. So Steve was like, don't do that anymore.
Clint Barton turned it down. That's what we got.
Clint Barton turned his down. Ant-Man and the Wasp, it kind of worked, but I think Tony hand-delivered that to them and persuaded them to join. So you've got that. I mean, overall, this was good. I like it. I kind of like the setup of where it's going. But yeah, it was an all right issue, though. I like it. I mean, I really wish, after seeing this, I wish Sanford Green was the one doing the interiors. But yeah, good issue there. We do also have Red Coat number 12 right here. We kind of talked about that. This is the cover they gave me at the shops. I didn't see any of the Annie Oakley ones, but it's an all right cover. I like it. It's pretty good. It does answer a little bit of stuff about the Northerner, like we talked about. He's from an alternate future, but still don't have a ton of information on him. But overall, it's a good issue.
So I talked to my shop about the whole League of Comic Geeks thing, and he was kind of asking, "Is like, well, how the heck does that work?" Is like, I'm gonna order these books, and then say someone doesn't want to pull that and take it off. Now I'm stuck with an extra copy. My pull list.
Well, so what I do is like when I have my pull list, you have the little buttons, pull or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so they just go off of the cover.
But I mean, anybody create a account on their pull list and it's connected to their thing. He said like, well, what if I get stuck with 20 books and everyone else decides to drop it off their pull list or they don't show up?
What are you talking about?
Well, don't they? How do they order their stuff based on guesstimate how much sells?
This basically reserves me a copy. So like, say they order like 50 copies of Redcoat.
Oh, so it just reserves it. It's
and if it's on my pull list, one of those 50 copies is going to be in my box.
Yeah,
I guess. On the other hand, there might be a smaller, less in demand title like Popeye. A lot of people aren't getting it.
Well, his concern was basically it's like because okay, now this person has their pull list and say well, because now I know this person wants another person create a box.
Yeah, it reserves you one basically.
But then, it's like then you start ordering based off of that, and then people stop. It's on your pull list. Well, yeah, I didn't want it. Now they're stuck with books.
Well, see, then I'm sure that they're
yeah.
I don't know. That can't be a huge occurrence to have somebody have that many people drop it. I mean, they also tell us to stay on top of it. Like if there are any changes, they hey.
Well, yeah, because they want to screw it over.
Book, you need to go in there and change it. Otherwise, we will keep pulling it. And they're kind of tough. They'll let you go once or twice if you don't want to book in your pull list, but if you haven't made a change, they'll let you go a couple of times. But by the third time, they're like, this has been in your pull list. You need to start paying for this book if it's going to continue.
Exactly, yeah, because that's the only way I can see it. Because
it's not always a guarantee that they can. Some books it is, but other books it's not as much of a guarantee. Yeah. All right. We got World's Finest, number 39. I didn't realize we were almost in the 40s on this. That's wild. This was good. I like the switch of Batman, Robin, and Superman. I like the switch where the ones from the past were in the future, the current day, and the current day were in the past. The whole moment where they see Alfred again, that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was nice, a nice touch. Also seeing Superman fight Scarecrow. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I figured out it wasn't real when I saw my funeral. That's something that would never happen. I'm like, oh, if you only knew, Superman, if you only knew. But overall, yeah, I'm really enjoying this crossover. The time travel crossover. It's really cool.
I was sad because there was no Batman Who Laughs.
I was okay without him. I really was. Nobody's brought this up yet, so allow me to regale you with this one shot of the Hulk and Doctor Strange. I thought this was a really good story. So I'll just briefly go through it. Bruce Banner shows up at the Sanctum Sanctorum. And he's, Wong answers the door, and he's like, what do you want? And he's like, I want to talk to Doctor Strange. He's like, well, Doctor Strange, he's meditating right now. He can't be bothered. And Bruce Banner, he's actually kind of comical in this. He's like, if he doesn't show up, I'm just going to start singing. And Wong's like, nobody wants to hear you sing, so come on in. And so Banner's waiting in the study. Strange still hasn't shows up, so he starts singing, and the cloak of levitation comes down. It's like, you don't even have ears. How can you hear me? So the whole conundrum is Bruce goes to Doctor Strange because he has this question. He's noticed that all the other people who are affected who have gamma powers, like She-Hulk or Amadeus Cho or Abomination, basically, if they were a good person before, the gamma powers kind of amplified whether they were good or bad. So like Blonsky was a dick before he got gamma powers, and he becomes Abomination. He's even worse. Or Jen Walters was a good person before she got gamma powers. Now in She-Hulk, she's still really good. So his whole query is like, well, I'm the Hulk, but I turn into a giant rage monster when I use my gamma power. So does that mean I'm a bad person? So he asked Doctor Strange to send him back in time to when his gamma accident, when his origin happened. And Doctor Strange says, well, I can't do that because time travel, it's a million things can go wrong. But he says, I can send your astral form back there. I can send your soul back, and you can kind of witness things that way. And there's this one real fun moment. I really enjoyed this. It kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit. But there's this moment where Dr. Banner's like, listen, if it's the spirit, in the soul, why am I always wearing clothes? Why is it when someone's in the astral form they're always wearing clothes? And so they pause and they say, and Steven's like, no one knows, it's a mystery. And they both look at the reader. I don't know. That was just really funny to me. I really enjoyed that. It was almost like a Muppet movie or something. So, but yeah, Doctor Strange sends him back in time, warps his astral soul way back to, the Gamma experiment that made the Hulk the Hulk. You see there's Rick Jones in his car. Bruce sees him, goes out in the car to go save him. And he gets really angry because his astral form is watching that guy Igor. I think he was like an assistant or an army director. He was somebody that was going to sell out Bruce's Gamma work. And,
he was a Russian spy is what he was.
Yeah, he was a Russian spy, right? And so Bruce's, astral form, he's seeing that and he's getting like really ticked off at that guy. But then he's watching the Gamma experiment happen and it's like turning him into the Hulk. And so the whole thing that he comes to, the whole realization he comes to is he gets like really angry because he like refuses to die and like he rejects death and everything. And so it's not that he comes to the conclusion that it's not that he's a bad person or that Gamma amplifies him being bad, but it's just that he becomes so dangerous that nothing can kill him because he doesn't want to die in that moment. So I thought this was a really good story. Very well done. J. Michael Straczynski, he's been doing these little one-shots, and they've all been pretty good. The Hulk, not the Hulk, the Nick Fury Fang Fang Boom one was really good. There was a Captain America Volstagg one that was also really good. The Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon one was probably the only dud. But this one I thought was really good. There is also this little side story in here, Aunt May and Agatha Harkness. Agatha is not de-aged, by the way. She's still very much ancient and decrepit. They have like a book club, basically. And this one lady, this other third lady, instead of reading a book, she reads the Necronomicon. It's like an ambush, and the Salem 7 try to invade. So, Agatha tries to ward them off. Aunt May has a butter knife that turns into a sword that she uses to cut off a tentacle or two. It's a little dumb side story. It doesn't really take away anything from this. But yeah, you got that in there as well. The art's also very Tumblr level. It's not very great. But yeah, this was a really good, if you just want like a one-shot, this was really good. All right, we're in the top 3. Number 3, as promised, in my top 3, Moon Knight number 8. This cover does not do the interior any justice. RDV kind of talked about the bulk of it. This was a really good issue where he ends up inside the sword. The demon, the dragon that's inside is a soul collector, and Khonshu has to come and save Moon Knight. And this was really, really good. I think Jed MacKay is probably gunning for a Thor title because he's doing a lot of Asgardian. He's incorporating a lot of Asgardian stuff into this run. And I'm here for it. I really dig it. So, and also, this is, I think, the first issue that I've noticed that the artist has not been Alessandro Capuccio, but this artist right here, Pramanik, was really good. They would do well to keep him on as the main artist, I feel. Geekeasy and I, no class, no fun when we see it. Incredible Hulk number 25. This was a blast. This was fun. This, I would almost say this was more fun than the Donny Cates when he did the Banner of War, Hulk and Thor fighting each other story. This was just fun. Every time I think they've covered all the angles, someone comes up with something that's new and creative and just a lot of fun. I'll even show you. But yeah, Geekeasy pretty much, he laid it all out. So Banner's got this girl that's kind of been his sidekick, but she's a skinwalker. And at some point in the past, a previous skinwalker, it appears, fought Thor and a friend of his, killed his friend. So now Thor's like got a vendetta against skinwalkers. So he shows up and he's ready to like take her to Asgard, and Hulk's super protective and says no. And so you get like this beautiful Hulk Thor smackdown. They tear up the Sanctum Sanctorum. That's where the story began.
They throw, man. They throw hard.
They do. Thor throws him in the ocean. Like he separates the water and throws him down in the ocean. And then what happens? Let me see if it's here. The Hulk basically grabs this old shipwreck and just like throws it up at him, knocks Thor out. So that is just fantastic. But then it gets really good. So knocks Thor up. The Bifrost Bridge shows up, and Mjolnir is just kind of like bouncing off. And so the Warriors 3 and Sif show up, and I thought that was really cool because I haven't seen the Warriors 3 in a minute. So they're ready to back Thor up, and Mjolnir is just kind of like sitting in the road, and Hulk's right there, and so they're kind of just like staring it down, like Thor. And Thor's like, Hulk, you can't pick it up, and so Hulk's like, okay, well then you pick it up. So Thor goes to summon Mjolnir, gets it floating off the ground. Hulk jumps out and grabs it as it's in the air. And as Mjolnir is hurling towards Thor, it basically turns the Hulk into a giant bowling ball. And he just plows through him, just knocks him out. It's just a blast to read, man. I was watching this, like, I was just reading through this, I was having a blast. Eventually, though, Skinwalker Girl saves Thor, knocks him out of the way of the Hulk, and that convinces Thor, like, oh, you must not be the evil monster that I thought you were. And so they kind of they part ways, begrudgingly, but they part ways. So yeah, this was just a lot of fun to read. I think it is going to tie into the new Avengers or that Thunderbolts title, because then Bucky shows up at Clea Strange. Clea Strange is looking for the Hulk. And so I think it is probably going to tie into that, because I think the Hulk is supposed to be on that team. So really, really fun.
They called him. They had a different name on there. Is he not going by what?
Bucky, yeah, Bucky. He became the Revolution. Yeah. That was during the Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly run. He took on a new identity, which is kind of dumb. I think he might be about to go back to being the Winter Soldier. I hope he is. But yeah, they've been calling him the Revolution for a year or two. It's kind of dumb.
That sounds kind of like a communist thing,
Kind of. Well, it was like a super top secret, like Illuminati level society. And they would have this person called the Revolution who would basically go around and incite wars on their behalf. So that's what Bucky knowingly walked into and accepted that. He was going to be like an inside man, if I'm remembering the story correctly. He was going to be an inside. I mean, Cap told him not to do it, but Bucky went against Cap's orders or wishes, and he did it anyway. But that run was not that great. Number one book of the week, though, I had a blast with this, and it is Spider-Man and Wolverine. Nobody else has talked about it, so y'all get to listen.
You're not even the first Zach to talk about it today.
Yeah, but we don't talk about fake Zach. That's just going to get me angry.
Well, he loved it.
Yeah. I loved it too. But this was great. This is Guggenheim writing, Kara Andrews drawing. The art, I mean, it's what you get on the cover here. Is what you get inside the book. I'll even show you all a few pages inside. It starts off with Wolverine. He does the whole "I'm the best there is at what I do. What I do isn't very nice," all that good stuff. So he gets a tip from this guy that he used to work with undercover. Lets him know that there's a dossier of everybody who's ever been a double agent in the Marvel Universe. And it was in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s hands, but then S.H.I.E.L.D. got disbanded. So now it's kind of, floating around out there. And Wolverine is at risk, and other people are at risk if it gets discovered. So he has Wolverine go find it. And then you get this, I mean, that's just cool. I'm sorry. That's like Todd McFarlane level Spider-Man looking like. I mean, that's just awesome. People will probably not like that it's not Mary Jane that he's meeting for a coffee date. But it is very much Peter Parker. He is, constantly late for stuff, making jokes. They do touch on, I thought they were going to touch on this, and I was right. They do bring up his parents and how they were secret agents. He plays it off here as like a joke. She doesn't take him seriously, but we all know that his parents were really secret agents. They do the thing where like his face turns into half Spider-Man when his Spidey sense goes off. I love that. Wolverine shows up, interrupts the date, says, "I need you because you're a nerd and you know how to like work computers and stuff," which I always liked it when the writers remember Spider-Man as a nerd. It seems like they don't remember that a lot these days. So yeah, they go find an old decommissioned helicarrier. They're going to go, crack into a computer, find the dossier, but then Kraven the Hunter and Omega Red show up to stop them. So Wolverine and Spider-Man, they fight them. They switch dance partners up. So Wolverine fights Kraven, Spider-Man fights Omega Red. And then what happens, though, I think it's Kraven shoots a neurotoxin. And what happens is Wolverine and Spider-Man start experiencing each other's like worst fears and memories. So Wolverine wakes up in a coffin, like very much like Kraven's Last Hunt. And then Spider-Man starts to, he sees himself as Weapon X. And so they kind of do this. It's really kind of a neat thing. Just a few more here. Wolverine sees Green Goblin kill Mariko. And so, just different fun stuff like that. They start, reliving each other's memories. And then Spider-Man and Wolverine, they come to their senses. And Spider-Man realizes that Mysterio is also involved. And apparently Mysterio was supposed to have turned heel and become a good guy. But, according to this, he's fallen back into his villainous ways. So Spider-Man lands a punch on the fishbowl helmet.
That would be turning face.
Yes, I was just going to say, you don't turn heel and become a good guy.
Turning face, excuse me. So he turns. So yeah, Spider-Man knocks him out, and Wolverine is keeping the other two guys busy. So Spider-Man hacks into a computer and finds footage on his parents, and his mom is a looker. So yeah, Spider-Man's he's going through some footage because he's like, oh, I've got time, and I don't know a whole lot about my parents, so I'm just going to watch this super secret spy footage. And it kind of goes and turns into like the Civil War movie where he sees footage of him on a plane. Then he sees this head from behind that kind of can all guess who that is. And from the looks of things, it looks like Wolverine was sent to assassinate Peter's parents. And so, that gets, Peter understandably worked up. So he goes after Wolverine at the end, and that's going to lead into issue number 2. Just had a blast with this. Care Andrews is like, his art is made for comic books. This was great. This is one of the best looking comics I think I've read in a long time. And I hope that this goes on. I hope Marvel is giving Care Andrews a good paycheck. He deserves one for his work on this. And it's fun. As far as I can tell, Spidey and Wolverine, they're both written well. There's not a lot there's not a lot wrong with this, honestly. I mean, you can say, oh, he wasn't with Mary Jane in the book. You can say that. But, I mean, honestly, that's a very minor gripe compared to the overall quality and the storytelling in this. I really had fun with this. I can't wait for number 2. So this is my book of the week right there. I did also pick up one other book. It's funny, RDV mentioned the Premiere Collection books earlier. I did pick up the Daredevil Born Again because I'd never read it, and I'm trying to get into some other Daredevil stories. So I picked up this one. I actually read through it in one afternoon. I read through it yesterday, and I've got a hot take for y'all. I don't like this one very much as far as Daredevil stories go. It's an okay story. I just think that there are better Daredevil ones out there. It's all right. Ash is probably has his ears on fire somewhere because I'm besmirching Frank Miller. But I just didn't think
How dare you?
I didn't think the best parts in here, the best pieces of dialogue, don't even have Matt Murdock involved. The best parts were like the Captain America parts towards the end, I thought. Or at least the most memorable.
It was just too dark for you? You needed a little...
Like some of the stuff with Kingpin, like, okay, obviously we know Kingpin's a big bad dude.
Hold on, I need to capture this expression right here. All right.
I just wasn't all that impressed. It was a decent story, but I just wasn't all that impressed.
It's like educating Jimmy all over again.
Also, like you were talking earlier about how the Catwoman book you're reading, she's like in costume like 10% of the time. Kind of a similar thing here. Daredevil is not in costume.
He had his wife systematically taken from him.
Yeah, I get that. But
Catwoman left Gotham where Matt
Daredevil
Murdock was betrayed by
Matt Murdock. Also, I mean, it's okay. It's an okay story.
It's no Ryan North fan as it 4. That's for sure.
Or Mark Guggenheim Spider-Man and Snicked.
It's no Brubaker Daredevil.
It's no MCU Spider-Man by Carrie Ann Andrews.
And of course, it does do the Frank Miller.
You're right. It's no Brubaker Daredevil. It's better.
Yeah.
Listen to who just said that.
I hear you.
You know, there's no bigger Brubaker fan than me.
I hear you, but I just wasn't all that.
I like the story. The weak part of the story is when they brought in Captain America and Flag Basher or whatever the hell his name was.
Need him at the end.
Him too.
I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, look, the best parts of it were the Kingpin parts. Those were the best parts.
You will be doing extra chores over the holidays.
I just want to take this time to apologize for people who are offended on Zach's behalf. I did not expect that. We will try better to teach him more and how to just come across as a guy who likes more comic books that are better than. He's reverting back to his Ryan North phase.
BTZ.
Yep.
I will not apologize. I will be the hot take. I will be the dissenter. I will be the one that says what everybody else is too afraid to say.
BTZ.
Wait. Was this a hot take with Zach?
This was a hot take with Zach. Yep. That's it. That is me. That is me right there. That is.
And this is the rest of us.
Next time I see a post on Twitter. The next time I see one of those posts on Twitter, like what comic book take has you like this with all the swords, that's my take. Born Again is not that great of a Daredevil story. The death and resurrection of Elektra is a better Daredevil story.
Oh, you're on paste. the resurrection of Elektra was probably the weakest part of the Miller run.
Didn't need to bring back
the issue where he fights Dr. Octopus was a better story than
no, there's no problem with them bringing her back because that was the intent all along. But it paled in. No, the death of Elektra was fantastic.
Yes. But, also, I don't know. I don't like Karen Page becoming a drug addicted porn star that sells out Matt Murdock's fame. I understand maybe part of it is to show like how damaging drugs can be.
Well, may I make a suggestion?
That's what I got from it. But.
Don't read the first handful of issues of Kevin Smith's Daredevil then.
Yeah, well, I've heard
because Frank Miller treated Karen Page like gold compared to what he did.
That's what I've heard.
And of course,
isn't Kevin Smith the one who killed her?
Yeah, and said I didn't realize she was popular.
Yeah. Kevin Smith. Gosh, I think his Green Hornet might be. He wrote some Green Arrow, but I don't think his Green Arrow was.
His Green Arrow was with Phil Hester.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. Well, he didn't stay on it for very long, though. I don't think
it was good.
It was on Hornet longer.
His Green Arrow was good, but I don't know that he's ever written a Marvel comic that didn't suck.
Yeah.
And also,
because he did that Spider-Man one,
Black Cat,
with Black Cat, and that one wasn't great. The best part about that was just the Dotsons.
That was dreadful.
Yeah. So
Frank Miller pretty much does that with women anyway. He turns in, them all into,
Yeah, even the seminal run that preceded it, he basically had Matt Murdock, fuck Heather over until she had no choice but to marry him because he took everything else away from her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, he definitely does not treat Matt's women well. But
right, so
yeah, that's it though. That's all I got this week.
All right.
I'm here for the. Where's the lump?
Taking up space over there.
Let's
see. Yeah, so I still adjusted the camera from the last time she took off with it.
Well, it's okay. We're just seeing your knees. We're wearing shorts today.
I'm wearing shorts. I like I do wear pants. Pick this up. First Enemy Ace. I guess I've read that somewhere before, but I don't know where. Probably from one of Evan's reprints. And the Coming of Galactus.
Toga.
And then my shop got into Space Ghost and the Green Hornet Miss Fury. I like the ending of the Green Hornet Miss Fury, but I thought they were going to play it like everybody thought that Green Hornet was dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Britt Reed too, like he was missing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was still good. I enjoyed it. But on to this week, number 5, Vatican City. The few people that are left, they're boxed in. They're screwed. There's no way out. So they're basically buying time, and they've been choked off from their supplies. So they basically run a bluff. Well, maybe not a bluff. So that they tell the vampires that you either go get us supplies in a way out of the city, or we'll kill the queen. And they figure out that these people have nothing to lose, so they agree to it. And so now it's getting closer and closer to what's going to end up happening, which I don't know how they get out of this. So because there's not much of the world left, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, they better get the hell out of Dodge.
Number 4, Batman and Robin Year One. I did like this. Was it Gargani or whatever the hell his name is?
Yeah, General.
Yeah. Clayface and Clayface, Two-Face.
Yep.
I liked the schoolyard scene. That was
that was a highlight of it.
And I said we talked about that, and I said
But Robin's feet on the dash.
one of the warring factions isn't playing nice, and I said I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knock off the father and son.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was like, dang.
Number 3.
You got it. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's frameworthy.
Basically told the story about how Reggie and Archie went from best friends to bitter enemies. And they end up fighting basically to the death. And Reggie's beating the shit out of him, and Archie won't fight back. And he's like, "Why won't you fight back?" And he goes, because Reggie got a serum, the same serum that Archie got, but Reggie's was killing him. And Archie could hear that in his heartbeat. And he goes, as he's lying on the ground, he goes, "Your heart, I hear it. You've got arrhythmia." And then presumably he dies, because then the next scene, Reggie's in prison, and then they fast forward. He's, talk about possible parole, and he goes, "I don't want it. I don't deserve it." And then he asks his dad. He said, "Do you think Archie would want me to, get out once I paid my whatever?" And the guy said, "Yeah." His dad said, "Yeah, I'm sure of it," which tells me that I said it's how good of a person Archie was in the story. But this was this is, as I said, this was very good.
I shop at that one, and then they did the issue 3. I don't think they have the first 2 though.
But number 2, World's Finest. I love this issue. It felt like I was reading a book from 50 plus years ago. I mean, it's, the panels were crisp, clean. There was no. I mean, this felt like an old book. I mean, like I said, it's just kind of minimalist scenery, backgrounds, whatnot.
Yeah.
And plus, this was a neat part of the story, like I said, with the future or the present and the past and the present. And this was. I mean, this is the crossover is okay, but this will probably be my favorite issue of it, because we've seen the rest of the story's been done a lot of times before. This felt kind of fresh, just in the way they presented it. And number 1, Red Coat. This is just a terrific book. Like I said, the little pieces of the future that the cobbler has, that he's cobbled together. See what I did there? The Northerner, I'm sure Celeste was serious. Like I said, he comes from that past, or does he know of this possible future? Because like I said, he's got He's got a $5 bill with Lincoln, not Jefferson Davis or whoever else would be on it.
He also says of the fact that if he allows this to happen, there's no more Simon Pure.
Yeah. So next issue ought to be very interesting. This is just a wonderful comic. I said I know Rook seems to be the consensus favorite, and then Geiger. But I said, not being a big fan of dystopian futures, this one is just history, and I love. This or Hyde Street are my favorites, but
yeah, same here.
For this week, Red Coat, Ichiban.
Cool.
Number 1.
All righty then. No back issues this week?
No.
Your 50 cent bin diving?
Oh, I didn't go out there. I've still got 2/3 of a short box. I've read over 100 of those since I've picked them up.
Wow.
And I gotta say, Zach, I've been reading a lot of FF.
Yeah.
The series FF that Hickman was writing at the same time. Well,
Future Foundation.
In place of, and then concurrent with FF when they got to 600.
Yeah.
Which was weird considering they didn't. Because FF 1 through 12 or something like that is Fantastic Four 589 through 599.
Mm-hmm.
Then it went back to 600, but they kept FF going.
Yeah.
So that math doesn't math, but it's very good, except because you were getting Steve Epting art.
Yeah.
Until it turned into Juan Bobolo.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yay, the art, but the story was still good though.
Yeah, it was really good. I said,
yeah.
And I realized that, Marvel right around that time was still going very well.
So strong.
Boy, did it fall apart after that. Well, let Venkman do his back issues.
Got myself the first annual. So, anytime I can find anything that's Mike Grell, Green Arrow.
That's a 3-parter with the Question annual and the Batman annual from that year.
Yeah, I know. So my chances of finding it are slim to none.
Yeah, actually, it's super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Filling in a part of my vigilante run.
It's not the Cowboy Vigilante.
No, this is the good one.
Yeah, that's the one with
the
the gun.
Cowboy is the good one. What are you talking
about?
Not compared to this.
So, and then because my shop always hooks me up with the Marvel Holiday Specials, I don't know if I ever have this one or not. So I just picked it out for like 50 cents.
Interesting.
So then I figured, you know what? 50 cents. I might as well start picking up other ones that are on my wish list. So I got me some Punisher War Journal.
Rumor is that Marvel's about to have Frank come back and be the Punisher again.
Yeah, monkeys fly on my butt.
No, I've heard that too, but it better the inside of the front cover better be apologizing for that abomination Jason Aaron did.
Yeah.
Yep. I think they're going
to brother on that.
Well, remember they replaced him with the other one? It bombed. Oh.
Yeah, the Data Pepos one.
People trying to make excuses. Well, it was a 4-issue miniseries. No, it's supposed to be an ongoing. So look at this number 29 with Ghost Rider. I'm guessing this is not Danny Ketch.
No, that's Johnny Blaze, huh?
Johnny Blaze.
It looks like Johnny Blaze.
Because Ketch was right around this time too.
Yeah, that would be Ketch.
That is Ketch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Blaze.
Yep. It also has the Turtles ads. All of these ads in the background. Yep. All right, number 42. So.
See, now that was when John Romita Jr. could draw a little bit.
I know, and that's what I was gonna like. He's like, oh man, I'm getting John Romita Jr. stuff. It's okay. It looks better. So. Look, an even better vigilante than the one that Zach likes. A vigilante and his dog.
Laugh it up.
Yep. Look at this. So the ad of that. That's cool. The game. Game Boy.
Yeah, if you tell people to laugh it up, you have to add the word fuzzball to it.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Wait, is this man's best friend? You don't know.
Not that man.
And then we got Suicide Run. Mark Wahlberg? Or is that Rob Liefeld? Looks more like Rob Liefeld.
Couldn't tell you. He's about to interview. Mark Millar's about to interview him again. I saw.
I thought Mark Millar was done with his channel.
Nice.
He said he only had a couple more interviews that he was doing, and then he was done.
He's re-interviewing. He's interviewing him a second time.
So I picked up this. Where's the number one? It's a wraparound cover.
Nice.
So I was shocked for a number one that it actually wasn't like worth money. You know. Here's number 5. He's got nothing to lose. For time reference, for when this came out.
Hey, I love that movie. Great film.
So that's like a key guy lets you know when it came out. And then we got the Punisher Warzone, number 7. And Charleston Chew. Then we get into some was it Christmas almost? And you thought the abominable snowman, or I thought the snowman was abominable. This is the Frank I miss. Frank is ready to shoot you with a freaking shotgun. Then we skipped number 14. So I'm guessing 13 or 15 is the lawnmower one. Brain.
Yeah, one of those two is.
Yeah, because this is like right after that. Then we have 17.
17.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Look at his face. This looks like more like Gronkowski. Looks like Gronk. Really looks like Punisher. And then we get this crazy cover. 21.
So vampire.
I know that's the first thing I thought was like a vampire. This is Huang and Nugent.
Nguyen.
Yeah. Number 28. So just feeling it. Oh yeah, and if MK is here, he can watch this in the replay. Mortal Kombat. For Super NES, Game Boy, Game Gear, Genesis. Crazy. Yeah.
Is that with Peter Gabriel or without?
No, I'm not going to answer that. Final issue, though. Making a third appearance in Marvel Comics, Rocket Raccoon.
The Wendigo?
Rocket Raccoon's third appearance is in this issue.
Oh!
Yeah, that's the first issue of the storyline where the Hulk is Bruce Banner's brain.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, this costs me $30. It's half off.
Wow.
Half off of 60?
Yep.
Oof.
Jeez.
According to what the guide says, so I looked it up online, yeah. So that's what it's going for. But I was like, dude, Wendigo, Alpha Flight, it looks like that, Sasquatch, and then the Hulk. And the Hulk looks the smallest one there is.
That's a cool looking cover.
It is. It's just I'm not used to Hulk being the smallest there is. I thought Hulk was the strongest there is. Apparently, it's strongest. That doesn't mean you're big in size. This means you're small. That's why he's angry. But that is it for my back issues. Alrighty then. Jackson says, I still think Lump doesn't want you online. She wants you out herself. Lord knows why. Wait, I waited all this time and there's no Breen back issues?
Sorry, dude.
What can I tell you? I mean, he has
We
back
get RDV's back issues tonight. Ray Kirk.
Ray Kirk. It's Roy Kirk on this channel, damn it. Only at I Love Comics they call him Ray Kirk. Just like Simonson. Speaking of that Conan the Barbarian book, I picked it up on Comixology for like $4.
You paid for that? Oh wow!
I paid for it because it's only available digital, and I can tell you, and I now know why, because the art is not that great.
It's not good.
No,
Simonson didn't. Do
but the story was actually really damn good.
Oh, of course,
Simonson could still write.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Basically, Conan ends up going to it's like wandering out of Hyrcania, goes to like this other place in the Easterner, and he comes across as he's wandering the desert. All of a sudden, he knows his horse disappears, and he's like, "What the fuck? Where'd the horse go?" And he basically ends up coming across these like Genghis Khan type people because he's like in Eastern, like part of Hyrcania, whatever. And they have this woman here, and like and he doesn't can't understand their dialect whatsoever. They attack him, and he kills them out. And then he looks at the woman, and he's like, "I'm gonna bet that woman tonight." Next morning, and she's basically getting her clothes back on because he's basically was searching for gold and stuff, and he's gonna return her home. He thinks that because she's wearing gold things, he figures, well, I'll get a reward, So he takes her home. They come across like this mountainside like town, and it's like abandoned. And he makes a mention of how it smells like death and decay, and then you see her like spill some kind of like potion mist. This golem comes and attacks Conan, and Conan realizes that the person that the princess isn't really a princess, so he kills her. Turns out she turns into this giant dragon and tries to kill him, and then the golem who actually reverts back to being the true princess, and he basically beheads the dragon, and it's revealed that the princess says like she touches him, and he's like, "What the hell? You have sorcery too?" He's like, "Well, yeah, and basically she said like this other like bitch wanted to take over my kingdom, so she was gonna steal it over, and so at the end like she like basically turns into a dragon, and she blesses him into basically says like here's you want gold, here's my necklace. So you ever see Conan has like the 3 gold like necklace things? The necklace has the 3 gold circles over. Mm-hmm. That's from this story. That's they're talking about that, and says like it'll bring you protection when I'll hang on to it. And he realized he's like, fuck, this is gold. He's been searching for gold the whole entire time. He thought he was gonna go home empty-handed. Yeah, and that's how it ends. It was okay, Walt Simonson story. Not the best, but I mean, better than I expected. Man's like what? Late 70s? Walt Simonson?
Probably mid 70s by now.
Yeah.
But no, today. That's what I was gonna say.
But the art was not great though.
Yeah, I wonder who decides when to raise the price on something, because Rocket Raccoon's been in the Marvel Universe for a lot of years now. Mm-hmm. But 2 years ago, that Hulk 272 was $10, and 282 was $80 because it was the first She-Hulk teaming up with Smart Bruce. Now that's dropped in half. The other one went from 10 to 60. Yeah, nothing really changed other than people. I mean, the She-Hulk was inflated because of the series, and then came back to.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what's worse.
When the original shop owner was running it, I wondered if he just put a price down and just never bothered to change it back. Updated the price.
No, I said that. I mean, I just looked it up 5 minutes ago. It's listed as 60 on there. Yeah, but I said that. That's recent.
Well, I'm just saying, I never saw them pricing. I always saw the same books on the wall all the time. This guy's actually since the shop owner's been like in and out of the hospital, he's having heart issues, problems. So he's out. He hasn't been able to come to work and stuff because he can't physically walk and stuff. He fell and broke his back. So now he's back in the hospital, looking to have surgery on his back. The guy is only like 50, 51. You know, all these issues.
I'm gonna have to jump off here. The thing that was wrong with my computer is still messed up.
Okay. We're gonna end it right here.
Okay.
Quickly for tonight, they're already scheduled. We have America Chavez, America #1, will be on the first reading.
Yeah.
Brain joked about it, and we're doing it now.
Sure.
You know, I'm America.
You want to be America?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Because I was like, should I give America to Amy? I'm like, I don't know. But yeah. And then we'll be wrapping it up. Actually, issue 5 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters, Volume 2. So we'll do that. Then everything's pretty much scheduled except for Sunday night. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
You want a Higgy Pop joke for the road?
Sure.
Or the kind of joke what do you call a conqueror who ends up in jail?
Oh no. Is this okay? Go ahead.
A Genghis convict. So you watch a Higgy video, you get about 20 of those.
Oh,
That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. That was pretty good.
Zach's like, I'm gonna go there for more new material.
That wasn't bad. Did you guys hear the one about the history of French fries?
No.
Do you know that they weren't originally created in France? They were cooked in Greece. 2 out of 3 laughs. I'm okay with that. I can go to bed happy.
But were they laughs with you or laughs at you?
I don't care. I got laughs.
They're laughs. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Good Jackson's like, good night.
Aren't you glad you stuck around for that one joke, Jackson? Aren't you glad?
All right. So I see you guys later. Have a good night. Stay safe.
Good night, kids.
Night.